Hello everyone, Felix here, and I'm joined with someone I've wanted to collab with for a while. We've got Kilroy here. Hold on,
Hey
let's.
guys, how you doing? It's Kilroy from the Speakeasy.
But yeah,
Hey
we've been
Felix, thank you very much for inviting me and finally making this thing happen. I think we
yeah,
have been trying to set this shit up for months now, if I remember correctly.
yeah. Admittedly, this was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Evening, hey Foxtrot, how you doing? Hold on, let's post some stuff so they know I'm live. But yeah, for the most part, we haven't we only recently that I approach you, and we had to kind of come up with this at the spur of the moment, at the last moment thing. But I'm glad that we have something to talk about overall. We have something to talk about our online experiences with writing and sort of writing like making fiction for our separate settings and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's for me, it's a culmination of, well, I'm 26, so it's 2 decades worth of just TV shows and movies and comic books and video
Yeah.
game that I've played, and it's basically a melting pot of shit I've consumed over the years. And
Ironically, for a while on my end, like in a few instances, it's been of things that I hadn't played myself, but I just kind of paid a lot of attention to for a long time. Kind of like, well, this specifically goes for me in Metal Gear and following all that storylines. When I was young, for a while, that was like almost like 5 6 years ago. This was present in a lot of this, and themes from it was present in a lot of fiction that I wrote, but because I love the story and I still do.
I like the vibes. You like the vibes.
Yeah, I love the
And,
vibes. I love the it's one of it's
and
I even to this day, even though I still haven't played it, but I still consider it narratively written. It's probably the best video game ever, like written like as
I've never
yeah.
seen anything like it. To this day, I will say that Metal Gear Solid is probably the best video game narrative ever put on a console. It's
Yeah,
unreal.
yeah,
It's it talks about everything.
yeah. Yeah,
Literally
on,
every.
like I don't want to get too much. I don't want to like bring up politics directly, but I will say it unironically influenced my view of the world for a while, at least the
Today,
thematic elements and everything.
well,
Yeah.
I truly believe we're currently living in a worse version of Metal Gear Solid 2
Yeah,
without
we don't.
Metal Gears.
The,
And
the S3 plan is in full effect, unfortunately.
yeah, no, I mean, like the whole AI consuming, controlling, monitoring everything, like I
He, re-
buy it.
yeah,
To
he re-
this
like,
point, and if it's not real now, I'm like, give it 50 years, give it 100, we're doomed, we're fucked.
I'm not gonna give too much credit to him. Oh, what kind of war criminal left Felix Dream? Hey, random perv. Hey, random perv. Nice to see you there. Nice to see the old man here. He's another Canadian. He's interesting. Well,
Oh,
yeah, we have. He's like the other Canadian that I have in my. I think this is the first time I've seen him in my stream, but he's a fascinating guy. I'm with him in a few servers, but yeah, I'm not gonna give Kojima too much credit over as it
yeah,
is.
no, because
He's
let's
yeah,
not gonna
because he's just a
pretend he
guy.
wrote this shit. Let's not
He's
pretend
just
he
a
wrote this shit
he's just a
himself.
schizo guy. But overall, I think
It's just a
he
schizo.
did predict in dead internet theory. He did predict the rise of the rise of deliberate AI that I feel like has been present for a long time on social media. He predicted modern social media and all that.
The only game that it's missing for me to play is Portable Ops, MGS1 and 4. And then
Oh,
after
huh.
that, and the thing is that if I want to play MGS1, I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm gonna play on the fucking Fox engine with the Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay because I'm not gonna handle Metal Gear Solid 1 PS2 PS1 gameplay. And
Oh
when I
yeah.
check like the comparison
My
with
issue my
uh,
issue with that is that like on my end is that I don't have a console. I don't have a console And my current PC is literally literally a laptop that I have 19 gigs left on.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god! Oh
I'm like,
no!
I am on like the absolute bare bones setup right now.
Brother, hey man, I feel bad for you because my PC I have right now is a gaming laptop, and I have it for like around a year or two or so, 2 years around. And man, when I made the upgrade, I was like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
can play Ready or Not. I can play Payday 2,
Yeah, I
brother.
can.
Like,
And
because I used
you
to
invited
play.
me to play Crime Boss, and I realized, oh shit, it's 90 gigabytes.
Ah, yeah,
I
no.
am. But then again, it could be worse. My last hardware was a fucking Mac, so you know how bad it can get.
Ew,
Yeah,
boy. Forget
yeah.
about it, brother. I use Mac on my school, but we're getting sidetracked over
Yeah.
here. Let's go
Oh,
back to the meat and
Felix, you're
potatoes. But
forgetting the first Canadian we met. Okay. As an aside, like on my chat that you're seeing, um, I'm gonna use that to lead into one of my earlier experiences with the sort of online writing, which was okay. So I did I pre a couple like I think a month ago or so I did a stream on something called Nation States. Where if you're wondering where all that interest in me like helping you world build because you consulted me for like world building Darklonia for your GI Joe RP your
we're going to talk.
TTRPG.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
Yeah,
GI Joe and Cobra.
where
Like,
that came from, well, I guess my experience with world building nations and all that came from this highly degenerate and brain dead fucking site called Nation States where everyone thinks they're smarter than they are. That's where we met the other Canadian who is not French Canadian. He's Chinese from Vancouver. He is not Sakana, unfortunately. He's another guy.
oh man,
It was a riot.
would
Now,
you
like in
would you
mentioning
imagine?
anything more.
Would you imagine the level of connection? Like, you know the theory that you're always 10 connections away to meet a celebrity.
Well, I hope he's nowhere near Face Connect because fuck that. I hope he's not into VTubers because he's eventually gonna find me or find my Oshi, and I
Um,
shudder to think about. I'm not even gonna mention his name because he was that fucked up of a guy. But
Damn.
hey, Sharpnel,
Well, oh, Sharp, hey, buddy, how you doing? Man, I
random
love
perv says a GI Joe RPG would be fucking amazing. Actually, lead us into that. Lead us into that, Kilroy.
G.I. Joe. For me, is a new addition to my interest. So the story goes: I play tabletop RPG with this particular DM. Let's call him Adam for since COVID, since the end of 2020, October. I'm gonna say September, October 2020, peak COVID hours. He introduced me to Vampire the Masquerade, and
Oh
I'm supposed to
wow.
play. I'm supposed to play with this other dude, and the guy they introduced me to GI Joe a year ago. The other guy, we never played him, and I think I met him once. We played together once, and then he vanished off the face of the earth, like Discord deleted his Discord type shit. And we play with this guy. I play with these three guys for like still play with them as a matter of fact. Like we still like we end the Vampire the Masquerade game where we started Werewolf instead, and D&D.
I remember
But
I got introduced into oh sorry. I got introduced to World of Darkness via of all things Hololive, and I think that started my interest in TTRPGs as a whole. I never really had I got an opportunity to play D&D in college just for like it was only it was basically only a one shot session because we were never able to come together again, but I remember
that's what
World of
happened.
Darkness came about late high school. I never played it myself, but I watched the Hololive Myth Girls get into it, and so in a way
I
my
missed that
yeah
episode. Oh
yeah
shit!
yeah
I'm
they,
gonna
they
be
had a
on.
lot
I'm gonna be real honest. Vampire the
yeah
Masquerade and the whole universe of White Wolf is not made for me.
mm,
And it's not that I didn't try it. As a matter of fact, I'm playing a werewolf and I'm playing mage with my vampire character. And the World of Darkness is so fucking depressing. Everything's evil. Nobody's a good guy. Everyone's a
uh,
dick. The world is about to collapse minutes away.
I heard it's like
Like,
always really edgy, but which didn't.
It is extremely edgy to a point that it, you know, how can I say this? I've never been a fan of Shadow as a kid because I thought he was edgy as a kid. You know, the target demographics
Yeah.
Sega aimed towards. So
There's
if
nothing
me,
personnel, kid. Nothing like that wasn't
yeah, no,
cool.
and even if I like lean towards it as a kid because every fucking kids do it, the whole dark, super edgy vibe vampire is like, nah, it's not my vibe.
Yeah.
And then this guy this guy tells me, yo, I'm starting my own roleplay. I have my own roleplay server. It's about G.I. Joe. And me, a year ago, like precisely a year ago, like we're talking March year ago,
yeah.
I knew nothing of G.I. Joe.
Oh,
All I
wow.
knew was it was G.I. Joe, they're Americans, they kick Cobra, they have ninjas. And I have watched the two movies years ago. Like G.I. Joe, the live action one with the not Jason Statham, freaking Shannon Tatum
and The Rock. Yeah, I don't know. I even like The Rock.
And the fucking Rock as a roadblock. And let me tell you something. And then what I did, I watched these two movies back to back, and then I've discovered that Hasbro puts the entirety of the 2 seasons of the 80s cartoon for free on YouTube, 24 hours.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's an active stream they pull, and it just plays the old episodes. And I'm like, well, that's a fantastic way for me to get introduced to the whole universe.
That's actually how I got introduced to Lupin the Third, the anime series, because the studio put a lot of the old 70s episodes up on YouTube that I just watched for free. I decided, you know what, this is fucking baller.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the show. I watched compilation of character moments because I feel like that's what I do instead of watching show, which is not something I should do. I should just
that's how I got into JoJo. Of all things.
That's how I got into The Sopranos. I can tell you the entire storyline of The Sopranos. I have watched only 3 episodes of the first season.
Oh, wow.
And yet I know who this guy is and how many years he spent in the can. But yeah, G.I. Joe Cobras. What happened was I got into G.I. Joe, and then I asked my guy, yeah, G.I. Joe's cool and all, but what about Cobras? I mean, the bad guys, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Destro, Storm Shadow, Firefly, Tombstone, Crocmaster, Zartan, the Dreadnoughts, the Crimson Twins, the Extensive Enterprise. Jesus, these guys are loaded in terms of bad guys, sidekicks. Like, who the hell are these guys? And I start like falling into this rabbit hole of lore and characters, and I'm like, shit's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Why we cannot play these guys? And then my DM says, yeah, there's a core book for Cobra that you can play for Cobra games. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. You gotta give me that PDF. And that's it. That's how it started. And this is how I became a Cobra fan. I have 6 figurines in my room. I have 2 comics, and once I'm getting a little bit more cash, I may order more figurines. Like the classified figurine are just super cool, and I need to get like a classified Cobra Commander or a Baroness in my collection. Like it's a need, man.
Oh, there's something random perv here wants to say. Well, speaking of one of the people who read the comics when they were new, yes, I am ancient. I can say the amount of characters, environments, and situations would 100% lend to multiple games. And then he says, as an old man, it gives me pride seeing you damn kids I yell to get off my lawn, enjoying the media I grew up with. Well, you're welcome, old man.
Brother, you don't understand. It's the fucking shit. Okay?
Yeah.
It's awesome. For me, who is not that much into superheroes, I like Batman, Spider-Man, the Avengers, Captain America, but like casual. I'm gonna
Yeah.
check the movies and I'm gonna check what I
Yeah.
like and I'm gonna get rid of the shit I don't give a
It's
shit
kind of
about.
like how
I'm
I
picky.
follow the MCU to some degree. Like I said, like I got really into it again because of Thunderbolts, but for the majority of it,
Same.
but like
Yeah.
I don't really care about the comics because honestly, I like manga. I've read some manga, but Western comics generally aren't my thing. I think it's just the like I can appreciate art styles. I like the art styles in some of them, but um overall the anime art style appeals to me a lot more, and the I have one manga which is Spy Family or Spy X Family, and I don't think I have anything else, but for the most part I'm not really into comics, but liking movies as like having grown up with Avengers 2012 and so on after that,
Captain
that's kind of
America, the first one.
that's how I got, yeah,
The
that's how I got sucked
yeah.
into it.
And
It was Winter Soldier that really
yeah, no,
got me into
Winter
it,
Soldier is probably the greatest MCU movie ever
because like
made,
I
and I'm
said,
gonna die
there's
on that
no
hill.
actual superheroes in it. It was
It's a spy
I brought
movie. It's a spy movie.
yeah, I brought this up during my Thunderbolts review. It is an unlicensed Marvel styled adaptation of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. They just replaced the characters. You
Crazy.
have Winter Soldier as Gray Fox, you have Cap as Snake, you have Fury as Colonel Campbell. You have
And
well
it's for me the reason why these movies work so well is that the superpowers are just it's super strength.
they're
It's
toned
like
down. Yeah, it's
yeah, they're
they're only
so
peak
toned
hu-
down. They're not like that's the thing. Like for me, like I lost over the years is just nah. They just like beating up gods and shit. Like this is
That was the main
unreal.
appeal for Thunderbolts to me, is because literally all of them are just
They tone
they're
it
just
back down. They're just dudes.
they're just
They're
guys.
just dudes.
They're
They're
just guys.
dudes, and some of these dudes are extremely well trained in their field, enough to be able to respond to such call. This is my vibe.
The idea of or like of peak physical human is a lot more interesting than
Yeah,
a lot of
no.
actual like fantastical superpowers on my end.
Or
That's
just like, and that's the reason why people love Batman over Superman. And I know sounds controversial, but Batman is for all the memes you can give him about the prep time, the Tibetan monk techniques, the Bat family, the bro's a dude, and I'm gonna stand on that hill that Batman is Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne's a dude. End of conversation.
yeah, he's just a
That's what
guy.
makes him so good.
Well,
And
arguably, I would consider just his pure mental power to be a superpower, just because of the whole, yeah, with the prep time meme and the planning for everything meme is a little bit ridiculous, to the point where even again the literal gods of these universes cannot keep up with what is seemingly a very experienced human. It's fun a little bit, but it gets a little bit unbelievable, to the point where
like
where
you're
a
gonna tell me
regular
that
human
after
can
that,
sort of
you're gonna tell me that after all the shit he done, you're gonna go to freaking Cobblepot, the penguin, who's gonna tell you, yeah, you're gonna go against the bat. No! Ain't no freaking way I'm going after the bat. Did you see what he just did to
He's just-
Darkseid?
he's not it's I
He
think
beat up the dude that killed Superman, dude. The hell you want me to do?
I don't
Swing
know
a
what to say
bat
other
at
than
him?
like it feels like Bruce Wayne is just tweaking 100% of the time. Like normal humans, or even like I said, Kryptonians cannot be as fucking locked in as as a random millionaire from Gotham. It's not even his wealth or his planning time. He's just perpetually locked in, to the point where like it's just a human cannot survive that sustainability, that cannot sustain that level of mental power for that level of time. It's just this bro even fucking sleep. This bro
Yeah,
even
no.
fucking sleep.
He doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, he doesn't shit, and somehow he maintains
He
the
doesn't-
reputation of
How
a
does-
playboy.
How
No!
does he-
Like, no, bro. Like, get out. And
that's the I
reason
feel
why
like
I love...
that's why I
That's
don't
the
like
reason why I-
Batman as much as other depictions, because
I would
it's
say
it's
that's
ridiculous.
the reason why the street level Batman is so good. That's why the
Yeah,
last
that's why
Batman
like
movie.
beginner level Batman is interesting, and that's why I think both
Yes,
of us, despite not really like, I don't really care about DC, but the Nolan, like we
I
both
don't
of us
care.
we both like
I don't.
we both like the Chris Nolan Batmans, even for all of its problems, even all for all of the
Yeah, yeah.
like all
No,
of its faults.
and I
We
have a lot of problem and a lot to say about Nolan's Batman. And I
yeah
feel that as much as I love Nolan as a director,
yeah
the movies are just mm, at some point. And I like the where he's going with this, and I love
yeah
the approach of a realistic Batman. I
you
just don't
like
like what the industry decided to take from that.
yeah
And
I
also it gave us the best Joker, which is never going to be beaten. And
yeah.
as much as I love Joaquin Phoenix, he made the second Joker, and that's gonna take a couple of points off the board, brother.
I feel like admittedly a lot of my attachment to besides the really good cinematography, because beautiful, straight up beautiful cinematography, but the a lot of my attachment to the Nolan Batman is one because it's Nolan, and two because of fucking of Bane posting Dr. Pavel, I'm CIA. I had to get up and
Yeah,
cite
no,
that.
yeah, no, but
I'm
for me, it's
sorry.
but Tom Hardy. But Tom
It's
Hardy's such a
even
great
even it
actor.
doesn't matter how like really stupid that scene is. It just feels so good.
No, but come think about it. The last time we saw Batman on the big screen was Batman and Robin. That was the last time people saw Bane on the big screen. Now you're
And then
gonna
they
put in their mind that in 2008, Christopher Nolan at his peak is going to cap off his
this like
trilogy of
yeah
the
this
most insane.
this art house director, this like British art house director, ended up doing possibly one of the better adaptations of a comic book.
Than freaking overpaid Hollywood executives that decide to say, no, we're right and you're wrong.
Yeah, I just
Suck on this, brother.
we
But yeah, no, but that, to return to the Cap story in Winter Soldier, that's such a good freaking movie. It's a spy thriller. It just because at this point in time, Captain is still like
he's still
waking up.
recovering. Yeah, he's still
Yeah, no,
recovering, getting used to the real world, or the current world.
And he's still like stuck in this World War II America. For him, America was at war. Nazis were the bad guys. Like, and the villains that clear-cut uniform, clear-cut looks, really big bold insignia, like a big black flag with a red skull and the Hydra logo. Like
his enemies wore uniforms back then, and the and in the modern like in this modern section of like the effects of like he skipped over an entire half century of geopolitical development, and I think that's what makes him such a compelling character, because he's like he's used to the norms of the American idealism of back then, and he skipped skipping over the entire Cold
American
War.
like hero patriot, and you just make him skip the Cold War.
Yeah, he skipped over the entire Cold War and the global war on terror, which
oh
like
man,
yeah,
would
and
you
like,
imagine a Captain America but wake up in '99?
I feel like that's why I have such an attachment to Walker, is because this like yeah, he's of US agent, because he's what I understand from him, he is, if you took just any global war, like anyone who participated in the invasion of Iraq in like 2001 and 2003, and then made him Captain America, that's realistically what you would get. That's why I have such an attachment to the character, is because he is a Cap born out of America's most difficult times. It reflects the more counterinsurgency kinds of wars that we had to fight from Vietnam onwards, of a very different America, of a darker version that still tries to fight for something that's decent and good, but has to confront his own morality a lot more often than a character like Rogers would, where it's a different kind of conflict, because it stems from mostly
because back then America was the good guys, and that was not a question. And you can't tell me everything about segregation.
Yeah.
So and Rogers represented that. He represented freedom, flaws and all. He represented the American dreams, flaws and all. And that's what made them such compelling, is that, yeah, flaws and all, but that's our duty to make it better. And that's what he represents. US Agent represent the battered, shattered, broken, and bloodied American flag that Rogers protected all those years.
There was this quote from an Ahoy video that I remember quoting it on Twitter, but I remember saying it aloud. But Walker is a lot more representative of what I would consider the post-Vietnam hero, more than he doesn't have the edginess of, say, Punisher or all the other gun-toting like 80s or 90s anti-heroes. He isn't that level of edgy, but he is a much darker character that represents that sort of kind of like enraged spite at the world. But he's not a bad person, just born out of bad circumstances. That I compared him to Rambo. I compared him to Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon. Arguably John McClane from Die Hard. That's sort of like that 80s subsection of people, like they're not shining beacons of morality, but they're still the hero because they need to be. In that sort of sense.
That's the thing that completely blows me away. I never watched The Falcon and Captain America, The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't watch it.
It's one of those few bad shows that I would still recommend because it explains a lot about why I like the characters.
But the thing that really pissed me off, and that was back when I was watching, because I was like, it was during COVID, I was watching a bunch of Captain America, Winter Soldier, let's go. And we meet the future Falcon. We meet Falcon, and this guy works for a veteran association to help them cope with normal life. What the fuck was his training when he was dealing with Walker? What the hell?
It's just like, oh
kind
man,
of intervention?
Yeah, you're gonna shoot. You're gonna you're faced with this traumatized veteran who has just seen his best friend die in front of him, and is fully aware that he is like out of his own mind, and he's trying to resist himself. What do? You break his arm and like beat him to shit and leave him bleeding on the floor. Yeah, where did that counseling go? Where did him being the empathetic hero go? Like they just needed someone to hate, and they wanted to see the writers wanted to have their cathartic moment where they beat up someone they hate despite him not even deserving it, and it hurts.
I think
hurts.
For me, that's part of the writers forgetting their own lore established, and not like the comic lore, the MCU lore.
Yeah, which is relatively easy to follow if you're consistent with the character, because they're trying to be consistent with the characters.
And they don't have the fucking comics to deal with, so they don't have these endless side stories to keep track of. They just have the mainline movies, and then the TV shows, and then the spin-offs. But it's established in the first Captain America movie that it makes your best attributes better.
From Big Ike. Oh yeah, hey Big Ike. Rorschach syndrome. Yeah. Well, it's kind of true because because I don't know Watchmen. I know he comes from Watchmen, but I don't know Watchmen. Lumar coined the term. The YouTuber Lumar, who just came out with a new video today, he coined it the John Walker effect, which was I think a couple years ago, which is really stuck with a lot of kinds of characters that the writers wanted you to hate, but they were so poorly written that that they were misinterpreted as the underdog hero or something like that. Oh, Random Perv says one great scene in the G.I. Joe comics is when Sneak Peek has to basically choose to
if they're
off an addict who traumatized them from childhood.
Oh man.
What?
Or Surrogate. Well, I mean, the video game about Alien counts, so...
Oh yeah, why is reality tinier than I from a video game? Well, yeah, I know there was another like extraction shooter based on aliens recently. I think that was Fireteam Elite, I think, or Fireteam. I know the really infamous game was Colonial Marines, which I don't know aside from it being bad.
Hey, Felix, I'm just gonna interrupt you a second because I'm reading the comment about Random Perv, and I'm like, is he talking about the OG line of comics? Because, hey man, I'm really sorry, but I've only read the IDW's series, which is taking place in the same continuity of the Real American Hero. But yeah, I don't remember that specific because I haven't read the OG comics, and that's on me. But I was heavily recommended to read the IDW run because I was playing GI Joe, and it was like the best way to get introduced to the GI Joe universe is that you don't get like the old art style and the rough way of writing that the old comic had, and but it still takes all of that into account. But then they just modernized it.
Mm.
Oh no, yeah, it's the old stuff. Yeah, the old GI Joe
It's a dead
comics.
scroll
I'm
to
talking
get
like
through.
the comic book GI Joe. That's the thing, and yeah, we're going to switch up entirely, but because man, I really want to talk about GI Joe. But the thing about GI Joe is that when I say GI Joe, what do you think? What's your immediate first thing you're thinking about GI Joe?
Like one half of it is the movies, is like the Hasbro movies. The other half, like the immediate other half, is the original like really old action figures in back in the day. Well, back in I guess Perv's day, which was decades before we were born, in the 50s and 60s when they were coming out, the dolls, the action figures,
Oh man, yeah.
that like there's that big divide between that and that. That is the but those two are the first thing that come to mind when I
But
think GI Joe.
would you argue that GI Joe does not take itself seriously?
Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I would consider it is definitely it's one of those it is one of those semi like it's definitely over the top. There's serious themes, but it's extremely over the top in the kind of way that the old spy-fi or like the attempts at parodying James Bond like in like Flint kind of were back then.
Well, I'm gonna tell you it straight up, but the comics does take itself seriously, and
Oh, huh.
holy crap, it's such and that's the crazy thing is that it's such a whiplash to when you start reading the comics and the story they tell. It's like, and then you watch the cartoon and it's like the goofiest plot ever they have in mind. But when you read the comics, it's like, man, these guys are not only ruthless, but they're like Cobra Commander is supposed to be this genius level. Well, genius. He's supposed to be this super ruthless, super evil like villain that like rivals Darth Vader. In the comics, they make it like
Like
they
the
make it
evil
a
overlord of the
statement.
comic, like of the overarching story.
Oh man, losing Cobra Commander losing his position of command to Serpentor because Serpentor becomes super delusional and a tactical genius. Serpentor was a fucking whip. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right away. Season 2 sucked in the cartoon because of Serpentor. I didn't like Serpentor the way he just because Cobra Commander spent like, and when I say season, I'm saying like 50 episodes of the series of the original cartoon of Commander trying his best to hold this circus of idiots and trying to pull this ship together, and then they made a genius intellect, and bro, the way they do it, it's like it's basically what they do is that they collect the DNA of the greatest tactical mind of our world. So they go like Caesar, they go Napoleon, they go.
How did they
Uh,
get his DNA?
okay, so how they did? Okay, that's the best part. They
Okay,
went
yeah.
to their tomb to recover their fully intact bodies, even after centuries of being dead, and then they and not shitting you, brother. And then they put some kind of technological gizmo on their chest to make them vanish, and then they say, there it is. Their entire DNA is stored in this
Her
gizmo.
fully intact bodies in the too.
Yeah, and then they brought it back, to their headquarters, and then they all fused it together, and then they
Like Agent
made this.
47 coming out of seven fathers.
Ah, bro, man, they collected like Napoleon, Attila the Hun, Caesar, like
Does he even have
an
an intact grave in real life?
yeah, bro, they had an Aztec leader. I think they had a pharaoh for some reason. They had Napoleon. And they
Why did
obviously
they pick
skipped
Hitler though? Why
Hitler,
did they pick the guy
Stalin.
that lost World War II? Why
Yeah,
did they pick
no.
one of his generals like Rommel, or why didn't they go to like the Allied generals?
Yeah, no. And it didn't work. It didn't work.
Did they get Sun Tzu?
Man, I don't remember. I don't think there's
They
a
didn't get
list.
Sun Tzu.
I don't think they have a list of like the people they have collected. I'm sure there's a freaking wiki somewhere that tells the whole thing, but man, this thing was whack, and this is the shit they like. Check your DMs, but this is the shit that comes out of it.
Oh, wow. That is a sight. That is a sight to see. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like I'm gonna show you another picture, and you guys like, oh, it's a toy. No, it's
Do you want me
from the
to show it off
cartoon.
on
Yeah,
stream?
please do. It's super worth it.
Oh man. Okay. Wait.
And then he goes, "This I command," and he just
Hold on.
barks order
Discord
at
is being like really
everyone.
weird with the images. Give me a second. Let me
Yeah, no
copy
problem.
that.
But he basically like barks order at everyone and treats everyone like an asshole. And I didn't like the way he was in the cartoon, but in the comics, he was still a wimp, okay? But the way they got rid of him is the best part of him.
Why does okay, what is this?
Because
Why does he have a
canonically,
yeah, why does he have a snake jet ski with 50 cows?
because
Instead of
and
snake.
this is canon, okay? This is canon.
Okay.
Everything I'm about to say is real. I am not making this shit up. I want you to level with me that what I'm going to say is canon according to the G.I. Joe lore.
I do like the insignia though. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the Cobra emblem is untouched. It's on par. But yeah. So basically, Dr. Mindbender, the guy that had the idea to make Serpentor, got his idea from telepathic snake people that was sending him messages to make this genetically enhanced super genius tactical mind to basically
looks so goofy.
get rid of Cobra Commander, take over Cobra, and take over the world with Cobra Law. A actual shit you not.
Wait, does he did this come about did this come about as like as part of a dream, or did he actually meet snake people?
No, they actually do meet snake people. They're called the Cobra Law.
Okay.
And they're like this organization of like snake people that hid in the Tibet mountain.
Oh, it's not
for-
even a jet ski, it's a fucking podium with wings.
Yeah, it's a podium. It flies. It's a beetle.
It's a winged lecture.
I shit you not. This thing flies and everything. It looks so dumb.
It does. Let me I thought it was like I thought it was a jet ski.
No, it flies. It's a podium and he barks order from it. It's so dumb. And then he meets this guy called Globalus.
The snake people came to be snoozy.
Yes. And when they revealed that in the movie, people.
Wait, they have so Lamias are canon in G.I. Joe.
Yes, Lamians are canon in the G.I. Joe lore. I can't even, man.
Like okay.
And they're not like the cute anime Japanese.
The snake woman.
No.
No, they're just
woman. They're snake woman. They're westernized snake woman.
Are they like the are they like these snake aliens from XCOM?
Absolutely. They're like the best
man,
representation.
Okay, that is okay. But yeah, I would kind of expect that.
And you want to know what the reaction of the people was, the kids was back at when the movie came out? It was a resounding, "Get the fuck out of here! You don't want it." And it was at this point that G.I. Joe like lost his claim to fame and basically like lost his edge and went into the 21st century.
What year did this cartoon came out? Did this this was in
the cartoons from the 80s.
Yeah, this was in the 80s.
But the G.I. Joe movie, the one that introduced Cobra snake people, came around the same time as the Transformer movie.
Oh, that was in the mid 90s, right?
Yeah.
I remember watching Cody alternate history hubs because he has another channel, a Pointless Hub.
97. It came out in 97.
Yeah, I remember he said that they were originally planning to revive G.I. Joe for around the 2000s, but then it didn't work because the global war on terror was happening in real life, and they thought it would be jarring. And then Michael Bay makes it like a military thriller anyway. Because they decided to go with Transformers instead, and then they made it a military thriller anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of like I get it, but like man, it's such a wasted opportunity that we could add like a cool freaking GI Joe universe with freaking Michael Bay. Would you imagine a GI Joe movie with Michael Bay during peak Bay era?
Yeah.
Would you
Honestly, like a lot of the dialogue that he writes in his movie is cringe, and his movies are really cringe. But at the same time, genuinely, he is one of the better cinematographers out there. He knows what he wants out of a movie,
like, clearly
and that's why I admire him so much.
Michael
he knows what
Bay
he's
ain't
doing.
no Tarantino. He ain't no giving shit about dialogue. My man went give all his budget to the pyrotechnics department and said, "Do your thing, fam.
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll." That's how he makes his million.
He makes visually good-looking movies, and he's not ashamed of that, and more power to him. Honestly, his movies have gotten better since leaving like there was this brief point where he went into he did The Rock, which is what I still consider his best movie, with Nick Cage and Sean Connery, that one where they go into Alcatraz, and then there was that Transformers period.
I've watched this movie. It's such a great movie.
Yeah. Then they go into he goes into his Transformers era, and then when he comes out of it, when he finally does something else, Ambulance was a great movie. I still recommend it. Ambulance was an excellent, excellent action movie.
You cut a lot. Your mic cuts a lot. I have a hard time.
I think maybe it's because I'm leading away.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry, I still do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, G.I. Joe, man. And then they're not gonna lie, they got rid of that storyline with Cobra Line and everything. But you know what they did in the comics though?
Yeah. What did they do?
One of the I don't know if it's canon or not, but one of the head canons I've heard was Cobra Commander himself kills him. And the reason why he managed to surpass Serpentor is that Cobra Commander went to him and said, you had all these genius tactician mind in your head, but you forgot the most important one. Oh, which one? Mine. Bam, bam.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, because nobody could rival Cobra Commander. Yeah, no, in the comics, that led to one of probably the most. I love the IDW comic run, but this is a head scratcher for me. The way they kill Snake Eyes. So Snake Eyes dies in the comic, and canonically dies. Killing Serpent.
Brandon Perf says they tried and made a 3D animated cartoon series in the 2000s, but it was pulled after the Twin Towers attacked.
They tried so much. They tried Sigma 6. They tried Renegade. They tried G.I. Joe Extreme. They threw so much shit against the wall, man, for crazy. Sigma 6 suffers from being how can I explain it? A 2000 anime aired on American children shows. You know, what's the name of the TV channel that airs Sonic X?
I can't remember the
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think Hanna-Barbera was the studio, but
I don't remember.
Hanna-Barbera was the studio. I can't remember the name of the actual channel. That was
they censored. They were infamous for censoring a lot of anime for no reason, like cutting dialogue or cutting like combat scenes that didn't need it to be cutted, and
because of censorship.
Sorry.
Because of censorship.
Yeah.
They
left so much shit behind the cutting table, and they didn't care because they got the rights and they got their money, so they can air whatever the hell they want. And they're the one running their show, right? And Sigma 6, Renegade, Extreme, all that shit, it didn't work, man. It didn't. G.I. Joe was dead, okay? And that sucks because G.I. Joe has a very silent but very tight-knit community. And yeah, no. The issue was G.I. Joe was made in an age where America was
constantly at war with someone, so the folks knew it. Around the late 80s, the culture changed, so people started getting sensitive. I think was it 4 kids?
4 kids.
It was 4 kids.
Yeah, it was 4 kids. Yeah,
I was thinking Cartoon Network, but I couldn't remember if it actually was anything.
It was 4 kids. Yeah, Sigma
was
6
4 kids. Was 4 kids part of Cartoon Network or something else?
I don't remember. Man, these corporations and their associate and everything gets confusing. But yeah, G.I. Joe problems was that it was basically against the US was such in a whack world back then that when you try to, if I explain to you the logistics of Cobra, and you have seen it a little bit with
Yeah, with the stuff that you
with,
showed me on Discord.
yeah, with the, would you imagine if that were in real life?
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of it's like trying to adapt elements of fucking like what I was talking about with the MCU before. It's not really it's a bit wild. It's a bit out there. It's not. Well,
Wow,
I wouldn't
out
say
there,
that. More like it's just logistically
brother.
impossible, really.
They have freaking like L carriers and shit. They have
Yeah,
like
it's not. It's
submarines. They have castles. They have like space station, like particle cannon. They
they
have
can
a
summon this like this infinite resources with infinite logistics out of basically nowhere, which I
yeah.
find. Yeah.
And every time they need a justification of how they manage to keep it legal, like because they get away with so much, like it's crazy, but they get away with like terrorist attack, and I'm not talking about nuking a place, like go to a place, do a lot of bullshit, and basically put the entire world on jeopardy with extremely sensitive information, and like these guys are basically all on the top wanted list on the FBI, and yet they somehow always manage to escape everything. And every time they try like to, because like you see Cobra, they have uniforms with big ass Cobra and
Yeah, they have it's very overt.
You cannot tell me that these guys are not terrorists. And
The
yet,
entire
for some
the
reason,
entire point of being like this secret army or like being a glowy is blending in with the normal population. Something I called out during my review of Black Ops 6 and like editing like the guns and everything and all part of that. Something I called out with Pantheon, who are the central villains, who are these like this rogue CIA NATO sect that tried to start a terrorist attack in the US. Something I did call out is how extremely overt this supposed secret army is being. They like dressing in all black fatigues with black helicopters, operating with their own fucking insignia in an active war zone and in like a national capital, operating with military vehicles in a national capital.
Get away with it.
Yeah, they fucking get away with it. No one actually questions whether these guys are US or not. When they shouldn't have logos or insignias or whatever. It's like they should always be posing as part of another unit, part of another real life unit, part of another like poses the cops, poses the military. Why fly your own flag when you're trying to be cloaked?
Yeah,
you cannot fly. Yeah, well, you cannot fly your own flag while you are attempting to cloak yourself. It's not. It's not. You can't have it both ways.
In Cobra lore, in the Gulf of Mexico, they have an island called Cobra Island.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay,
it's their freaking country.
This is going to be a okay. No, I can't mention that because I would be doxing myself.
Like in the lore of Cobra, they have like an island which is recognized by the international community as an independent state. It's a country ran by Cobra Commander. Basically, it's a safe haven for the organization. Fine.
This is bringing me to dark places.
But like, fine, whatever. They managed to pull it off because Cobra's Cobra, and they basically cheat their way into it. I don't care. They still use the same emblem for their flag. Now it's a hostile enemy forces instead of a non-state actor.
I had a writing project. Okay, so like I said, this was bringing me to dark places, and some people in the audience would be familiar with what I'm talking about. For a long time before I started PNG tubing, before the VTubing rise and everything. I was part of an online writing community, like I said, called Nation States, which is where they interested.
You should stay near your.
Yes, my bad, with my mic. I was part of this online writing community called Nation States. The roleplay side of it. It's normally a game. It's normally like an online browser game.
I know. I played it years ago.
Oh shit, you did. Okay, so you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. I made several undisclosed fictional nations that I will not admit what they are, again, because to saying what they are would be tantamount to doxing. That came about under like semi-similar circumstances, and like former British colonies that came about on fictional islands that were at some points hostile to the that were at some points, like during the Cold War, switched sides from NATO to non-aligned. It became hostile to the U.S., which was inspired by something.
I lost half your story. No.
Oh shit. Okay, so okay.
Lost half your story.
Where should I start from the beginning?
The beginning.
Okay, so thing that I came up with, British colony and undisclosed part of the world, U.S. aligned, very close to the U.S. And both like politically and physically. At some point, I retcon it as part of this sort of as part of a more Cold War focused storyline, which was inspired by Metal Gear, specifically Peace Walker, specifically Peace Walker, that inspired me to do this. Where it switched from being non-aligned, it switched from being NATO aligned to non-aligned with its own nuclear power, with its own like nuclear weapons and everything, and then just decides to invade Cuba several times as part of its fictional history and fuck with the U.S. during the invasion of Panama. This, of course, obviously would not stand, even for a nuclear-armed nation. It just wouldn't happen in any sort of real life. Why it had this sort of plot armor? It would not happen.
It's the plot armor that like you need.
Yeah, it was my plot armor that I gave it, and I'm ashamed of that because it just wouldn't be geopolitically realistic. And that's why I guess this is tying into my part of the this is my when I say online roleplay, this is kind of like I do character focused stuff, but this was my more like faction focused and world building part of the roleplay was making this shit up, and you saw it all the time if you were on Nation States. Everyone was god modding. Everyone was saying, "Ooh, I have this secret organization that has infinite power because of not vibranium, or fucking whatever."
Yeah, they basically made this super technological weapon that can kill you all.
And I was the subject of that. I was on the receiving end of those multiple times. Very early on, this was back during high school when I was playing this. And someone decided to, I think it would be funny if I orbital struck one of his islands, because I was running an island nation that had all this power, and one of my enemies decided, what if I just orbital struck it with a fucking, a rod from God kinetic barrage, and sank an island, which was, again, something that wouldn't be realistic under any circumstance, and I'm forced to go with it because, like, out of character, I am peer pressured by the other players to just accept the L because anything more than that would just be malding.
Seriously, yeah, no, this is absolute fucking nuts, man.
Fuck, Sean, I fucking hate you. Ah!
That guy knows details.
Yeah, that guy knows too much. He like, I guess I am admitting
details
for a bit that
that
Foxtron is a friend of mine. He has been with me for a while, and he is familiar with a lot of this shit that I would have survived.
Know details of the lore that only I can. So.
Yeah, only you can imagine, because, again, admitting this on stream would be tantamount to just, like, more than doxing, this is dark, like, deep dark secrets that, like, my family and friends don't know about. Like, my real-life family and friends are not familiar with.
I'm going to give you, like,
this was my dark past, like, this was one stage of my dark past.
I'm gonna give you pictures of G.I. Joe units. You gotta tell me what's their role, okay?
Okay, yeah, okay, sure.
Okay. What these guys do?
Okay, so
I would like to tell you that the guy on the left is infantry. The guy on the right is obviously a pilot.
Yeah, it's obviously Air Force.
They're part of the same division.
Let me put them up on stream, and then I'll I'll bring them up, and then I'll show them off. Hold on.
I'm gonna give you the names. The one on the left is a Python Patrol Viper. Viper is a catch-all terms for infantry, trained infantry for Cobra. And the plane on the right is Actually,
Deep dark secrets. Yeah,
it's
from
a
Foxtrot.
conquest. It's a conquest.
Um, hold on, give me a second for me to pull it up again. Discord's being a little bit slow with the images.
Yeah, no, it's.
Wait,
It's
okay, hold on. I have several questions.
questions. Yes, of course. Take your time, and you have the opportunity to ask me everything about them. Just so you know, I'm not very well knowledge of IRL military stuff. So if you
Yeah,
start
so,
getting
okay.
technical, it's gonna be a bit difficult for me to answer.
So I guess I'll start with the plane. This kind of looks like the X-29 prototype used by NASA, which was this was a real thing, a fighter jet prototype. Let me show that off to you so the audience knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Please bring a comparison and ask me and I want you to ask me what their purpose is. Why do they
This one,
exist?
it reminds me of this. Are you seeing this on screen? The white, this one. This was by the U.S. Air Force and NASA. This was a test for the forward swept wings, and I can see that similarity here.
I'm currently checking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Plane looked a bit more like a Berkut to me. Oh, kind of like a Sukhoi, but yeah, it's too small to be a Berkut to me. But overall, it looks like it looks like a general tactical fighter, I guess, in my opinion. You can see the guns in the front. You can see it's a bomb layout.
Fascinating. The pilot has a sniper rifle too. Man,
why does the pilot have a full-size rifle?
Hasbro has no idea how that shit works. Okay, I would have if they would have told me, yeah, it's a survival rifle. I would be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just because real life pilots
that's
have
not
them.
That's not a survival rifle.
Are you okay?
So they look like, what does Python Patrol does?
I am very scared of this answer, but I think it's correct. They leave the planes like in GTA, and then they fall to and then they parachute to the ground, and they
no. Just tell me what the role of Python Patrol is. Like these guys, these are Python Patrol Aero Viper, and this is a Python Patrol Conquest.
Well, this guy looks like minus the guns and minus the guns, if it was just the tactical gear only, and I didn't see the mask. Why does he have Batman colors? This guy, why does he have have you noticed that if you take away the guns and then you take away the mask and replace it with something else, this guy has Batman colors.
Yeah, exactly. Why? Okay, so what's Python Patrol's deal? I would like to tell you that their uniform is an integral part of their role.
Integral part of the role. Well, it's not camouflage, so I'm not quite sure on. It's clearly not camouflage. I mean, it's just, I guess, some kind of shock infantry that would, I guess, go into urban. Well, it's okay. It's portrayed as part in a jungle, but if anything, this gray on yellow would be useful for. Well, I wouldn't call it useful, but I guess the areas where it could conceivably blend in would be in urban areas where there would be basically a death squad or a kill team in urban areas. I guess that's my guess. That's my guess for this kind of thing.
Okay, so are you ready?
Random perf says, I know the reason, but stand by, it makes no sense.
Random perf. Yeah,
Crispy Chip says it's for duck. Crispy Chip says it's for duck hunting. It's for duck hunting.
So
and terrible artist for when he crashes and he wants to go ham. So yeah, Hallowed. What's up, guys? Hey, Hallowed. Oh, we've got a lot of people here. Yeah, but So he crashed when he inevitably crashes and he goes ham. I guess this guy somehow leaving the jet is part of the mission at some point. I don't know why, because normally you'd want to stay in here as long as possible. But
I just need to tell you that the way they look is integral to their role. So I'm going to tell you what it is. This is coming from yojo.com, which is a collection of a library of all the toys and all the figurines that Hasbro has done since '92. And The Cobra Titan Patrol is a elite unit of troopers that have been handpicked from various Cobra Viper units.
Okay.
They are specially trained and equipped for stealth and
my gosh.
infiltration missions.
Oh my god, I'm gonna.
They wear, shit you not, brother, camouflaged uniform
That is
to mask their presence,
That is
which
not camouflaged.
which confused GI Joe radar detection
Are you
system.
fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding me?
So what they do is that their uniform basically
I was kind of thinking-
nullifies radars.
I was kind of thinking it would be like if the only reason why I would have these odd patterns was if they were trying to is if like kind of like the sneaking suit from the Metal Gear series. If you see from Metal Gear Solid 3 and 1 and that sort of pattern. Well, the garish color, even then, the garish color, like it makes sense for it to be skin tight. Like the skin tight uniform kind of makes sense in that scenario, but the highly garish colors that you could see with a Mark 1 eyeball from 100 meters away, that doesn't. Why is it red? Why is it in a snake livery that you would see in fucking as like a custom skin for Ace Combat? Why is it yellow? Why is it gray on yellow? Why does it have a bright red visor?
There's a comic reason, and that's not it. What I just said is not it. And from a other reason why is that they stole G.I. Joe tech to beat radars, and that's what you see sketched on their plane. And they did it on their uniform. And when I asked my DM, like, how does it work?
This is not stealthy. As a plane enthusiast, this is not stealthy.
This is the antithesis of stealth. This is the opposite of stealth.
This is a bigger radar signature than a fucking F-15.
And somehow it's supposed to be completely invisible. And one of the things I like is that Darklon, the guy I've talked to you in the Discord, in the comics, later in the comics, actually used these uniform and guys as part of his army. So it makes for an interesting like contrast to like whenever he shows up with his own guys and they fight against Cobra and G.I. Joe, like you can't really spot them. But yeah, and I'd like to tell you that get used to this. This is all G.I. Joe is looking. This is absolutely fucking hilarious.
Missing texture. Yeah, it looks like a fucking.
Yeah.
It looks like the Gmod, the source. Bane, I forgot to download source. Bane,
So Random
missing Counter-Strike source.
So Random Ferb said, in the comic reason, the yellow is actually an optical illusion from the reflective surface that breaks up the pattern when you look at it.
No!
It makes no fucking sense. Still, but that's it. It's still like...
I guess the closest thing was...
to make it like... It's supposed to make it look like... It's like... It's UCP's better than this shit, man.
UCP, okay. Let's show that off for the people who don't know what that is.
Like, you're like, and the thing, like, the use of Titan Patrol is, it's basically force recon.
At least it blends in with the couch. This doesn't blend in with anything.
No, but the use of Titan Patrol is force recon, so basically they directly target assault like military bases, because Cobra likes to target like they don't care about military structures, but if they have to do like in remote location or in the middle of nowhere, they send these dudes to do the job.
Is it for sabotage or like blowing it up or
everything?
Why can't they just send in a missile?
Oh man, we gotta sell toys. We gotta sell toys, man. I don't get it. Like,
it's like, yeah, we have to infiltrate and destroy the space. Why can't you just bomb them? You have a jet. You have a jet. Why can't you just bomb them?
You don't get it. You don't get it. Cobra has to pull on a show. You think it's cool nowadays to just pull a drone and drop a trenches? Nah, man. That's not cool. We gotta do it in style.
I remember, okay, this is leading into something else, but are you, like, you've played, well, I guess you're very familiar with G.I. Joe. Are you familiar with Strike Force Heroes? Did you play that as a kid?
I don't believe so. Strike Force Zero. Let me Google that.
Okay. Okay. This is.
Force
We're. This is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's Foxtrot. This feels like something the Indonesian would use for a reference. I have
This is a
stories about the Indonesian. I have brought him up before in like under a different name.
yeah.
But oh man.
Oh, yeah, you have to remember
I have stories
that.
about that as well. That
have to
leads into something
remember-
else on like the online role plays that I would do. Okay, okay. While you pull that up, or while you're searching that up, this is my opportunity to explain things and keep things like semi-vague in case someone knows where we're accidentally catches on to what we're talking about. I was during the nation states times when I was active in like writing projects for that, there was this man from Indonesia that I brought up during the boy stream because he was the guy who was into superheroes that I kind of had to hide my interest in the MCU for a while because it was cringe.
Stay close to your PC, man.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so this was during writing projects on nation states when we met this guy. This was when I had to keep like my interest in the MCU hidden because it wasn't slop yet, but I had to.
Hey man, I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna come back because keep cutting and it's like I don't know what's if the connection or something. I'm just gonna pop
you
can't
pop
out
you
and
can't.
I'm gonna come back.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, but it's you. That's
oh shit! I'm sorry. Okay, so leave the call and come back. Okay.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Just a moment.
I don't know why Discord, like for some reason, whenever I pull up an image on Discord, it's very slow to open and very slow to close. I don't know why. Oh, he's not back yet. All right. But yeah. Okay, so you're back. You're back. Okay, I'm leaning in close to my laptop this time. Okay, so give some backstory about the Indonesian and like a lot of the stuff that I want to tie in with, I guess, my perspective on the whole, on the G.I. Joe units and stuff, and I guess tying into the title, which was supposed to be online writing. I was part of a writing project, sort of this online roleplay writing project in nation states, but it was mostly focused on Discord. We never brought it to the site itself. I guess possibly for good reasons because it would have. So it had its problems, but we had this interaction with a guy, this Indonesian, where he was obsessed with a lot of over the top kind of superhero media, which is why I had to hide my own interests in the genre.
He was obsessed with
superhero media, but in a way that was he's like this soy boy kind of fan. Like he isn't there to analyze it critically. Whenever he made these
I know what you're talking about. I know.
Yeah, the kind of that's not even going into his very odd and very at times disturbing religious and political views. Again, this guy was from Indonesia.
This is a bit.
But he. Looking into his fact books and the things he made, this would be something that I would have seen as this would be his depiction of at least either an ally or an enemy as a reference image. These the G.I. Joe figures, this would be his kind of thing to look at, despite with the irony of him hating G.I. Joe. I think he would hate G.I. Joe because it's so American focused, because he made America the villain. He made America the villain in all of his stories. Straight up, because of his own political views, he made them controlled by the literal devil. As part of his overarching story, where his Superman Muslim Superman stand-in had to defeat them with the power of God and light or whatever, and then make them a part of his literal global empire. He created a dystopia. Yeah, he created a dystopia without even realizing it, and we had to call him out on it multiple times. One of the factions that I decided to pick up on because I wanted to both explore interesting stories from what he would consider his enemies, And one of the ironies that we and a friend who may or may not be in the stream came up with was, um, he decided to genocide North Korea. That is not a joke. He decided to genocide North Korea. His excuse was, "Oh, the leaders were evil," but he decided to take it out on the already starving population and drown them in a flood, in like a biblical style flood, while somehow keeping South Korea completely safe because he is a major fan of Korean culture and he doesn't want that destroyed.
Wait. So he just
He
flooded
his version of the Avengers or Justice League or whatever decided to flood the entirety of the North Korean peninsula, like specifically the north, while somehow magically keeping the south untouched. He flooded the entirety of it like a biblical.
So basically,
like,
what happened is that the line, that the DMZ line, exactly precisely on the millimeter.
Yeah,
on
the floodwater stopped there. The floodwater stopped there. and like I made it so like because of
So
calling
basically,
out.
what he did is that he went on Photoshop, grabbed a picture of the.
No, he didn't. He didn't do
world.
that. But it was only in writing only, as like part of a scenario, as part of like a role play scenario, like a world building scenario. He didn't actually pull up any images, but it was kind of the very perverse morality of what he did. He's supposed to look out for innocents, but he completely skips over the literal slave soldiers that were forced to fight, but he kills all of them anyway. And then he accidentally he accidentally makes martyrs out of like all the people that he kills, which again is something that he didn't foresee because he sees all of his enemies as like unequivocally evil.
Yeah, because when you're the good guys and you believe you're the good guys, why would the bad?
Yeah,
guys
there was no
blame?
moral ambiguity that we had to eventually force him to introduce character conflict into the scenario. But I ended up briefly playing at least a reformed North Korea who would fight against guys who looked like this. Except they had like they had the armor and everything. It was even more unrealistic armor than this. They didn't even have tactical vests. They had AK-12s and armored and like okay, let me go find it. They had armored versions of these. I'm not a joke. They had armored versions of these. This is what his soldiers had. His basic infantry had was like like metal armor versions of those. And and the better part was because he played like despite us treating it more like a writing project and he treated it like a TTRPG despite it not being one, or like a real time strategy game despite it not being one. My North Korean guys that I roleplayed, like, which were for the most part like depictions of like actual like KPA and even South Korean defectors that were acting like the resistance to his new regime. It was actually pretty easy for them, despite it being like a really hard life. Like fighting was easy because he would charge them in a straight line and they would just open fire. Not a joke. That's what they did. That is what they did. That's what happened. That's why they were winning. That's why they had so many advances despite being an insurgent group and like or a rump state in the north, in this flooded swampland of the north. This is why they had so many victories. All they had to do was aim their guns in a straight line and ambush them because they kept charging them in a straight line. And
That's so fucking dumb. Like there's no creativity. There's no like cool.
I don't know if he's still like this, but yeah, and not a joke, this was his idea of a stealth fighter at the time. I had to introduce to him, no, it's because of radar deflecting materials. It doesn't turn invisible. It's just a plane that is resistant to radar waves. It does not turn invisible. And I had to tell him that. I had to tell him that to his face.
Cobra, at least Hasbro have the gall to at least say, yeah, but we have a model of it, so what's your freaking excuse?
I don't think that, yeah. We
sell toys of that.
Okay,
technology.
Crispy. I really want that Indonesian guy to write a Command and Conquer game. He was fucking obsessed with Command and Conquer. He wouldn't shut up about it. It was etched in my mind for a while. Like that's why my only exposure to it, like my only good exposure to it was Red Alert. All the other shit was well all the like original series. He wouldn't shut up about the original series of Command and Conquer. That's why he made all of his soldiers and infantry run in a fucking straight line. That's why he had his tank columns charge in a straight line.
Because
Oh my
he saw
gosh!
war.
That is literally what he did. Word for word. Not a joke. What he did.
Oh man, love.
I was cringe back then, but at the very least, I was calling out someone else's cringe.
I love Command and Conquer. Generals was my favorite. They never made like a Command and Conquer like Generals ever again. That makes me sad. Yeah, it was a.
Felix should look up the Cobra amphibious units.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm gonna Perv wants me to look up Cobra amphibious units.
Oh man, no, it's Cobra. Oh man, what's the name of these units? Because they all have like Viper names. Like we have a Saw Viper, we have Eat Vipers, we have Techno Vipers.
Why is he blue? Why does he look like? Wait, hold on. Is that a tarp? Is that a tarp over the back end? Is this an open top vehicle? Kilroy, is this an open top vehicle?
It is an open top vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
this is an APC and it's an open top vehicle.
It's a Soviet. It's a fucking Soviet vehicle. Yeah, no, it's not as good.
I mean, there are vehicles in real life that look like this without the turret on top. These are called ducks.
But that's a G.I. Joe one. That's a G.I. Joe one.
What is this?
Oh man.
Why do they have the Batmobile?
What is this? No, okay, no, Felix, I want you to Google the Cobra Rattler.
Okay.
Now this shit is a abominous to look at. I hate it.
Okay, what is this?
It's the Hammerhead. It's an abomination, and I don't know why they made it.
One of my friends is going to either love this or hate this, because that's just an A10. This is an A10. This is an A10 with with the engine layout from the
Look at the top. Look at the what's on the top.
Wait, what do you mean on the?
Look behind the pilot.
You're not gonna believe this, Kilroy. You're not gonna believe this, man. Okay.
They made an A10 with a turret.
You're not gonna believe this, Kilroy. Okay, let me introduce to you. This is becoming like a plane stream. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, it's not. Look. This is a Soviet ground attack aircraft that was meant to like fill the same role as the A-10. Look at the guy in the back. Look at this photo. Look at this photo of the guy in the back. This is a tail gunner. This is a World War II style tail gunner. This aircraft, this attack jet, was made in the 1980s.
And he's there.
By accident, this is one of the more realistic parts of G.I. Joe. Not a joke.
Well, you want to know something about the Rattler?
Yeah.
It's a VTOL.
It's
the Rattler. The Rattler can turn its wing so it face down, and it
it's a tilt wing.
Yeah.
It's a tilt wing. Okay, you're gonna hate this even more.
I have pictures of the wings, like they can turn.
Like
and
it's obviously unrealistic. This isn't gonna happen, but it's.
Yeah, but
the funniest part is that this is multiple real life concepts for aircraft in a single thing. Wait. Okay, the gun turret here is blocking the airflow that is going to the third engine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes absolutely zero sense. I have a question for you, Felix.
Yeah.
Is it cool?
It doesn't
look cool.
It looks like something from 40K, but it does look cool.
and that's the entirety of what G.I. Joe
that's the
builds
point.
itself upon.
It looks.
Is
It
it
just looks
cool?
cool.
Is it cool? Yes, then let's do it.
This is more
That's what-
realistic than the fucking Quinjet from Marvel, and I'm not even joking. It is, because it is, at the very least, it pretends to be aerodynamically designed, like with no exposed rivets or like greebles or anything. At the very least, it pretends to be a real aircraft. At the very at the bare minimum. At the bare minimum.
It tries this goddamn. It went against the Tomcat.
What? Wait,
The
this is supposed to fight against the F-14?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Oh my gosh.
Because GI back during
gosh,
that
it's
era,
not even supersonic.
GI
It's supposed to fight a supersonic
Joe-
fighter jet.
G.I. Joe's plane was a XF-14 Sky Striker.
That's
It's
supposed to be a
also
Tomcat,
modeled-
right?
It's modeled after a Tomcat. Yeah. And it's
Felix, look up the Thug Shaker. No, I swear it's a real thing
It's
from
a
G.I.
real
Joe.
Joe
Okay,
thing.
at the very
for real,
least, I like
for real,
it's
for real,
not.
on God.
It's not accurate, but it does look like the real aircraft. At the very least, it has the
No. Look up G.I. Joe Sky. Yeah, it's that. It's the Sky Striker.
Yeah, it resembles I can recognize it. I can recognize it at the very least. It does have the gun on the side. Yeah, this is the I don't like this is my plain autism showing. This toy, this has the I think this is hold on. I did an entire stream on the F-14 before. F-14D. I mean F-14D. Let me this has the
It's so fun. To
This
get,
it's so
someone
it's so
new.
weird seeing a fucking G.I. Joe toy have a realistically modeled the lantern targeting system. It has this. It has this. This is a real thing, but they incorporated it on the toy, which I think is really cool. They had this is a real targeting pod used on the F-14, but they included it on the toy.
And that plane, it goes up.
Oh, hey, it's the thing that killed Goose.
Yeah,
it's the thing
fucking
that killed Goose.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Do you want me to go into? I think one of the things that I wanted to show you, which was
Show me something you wanted to show, because I can go after G.I. Joe shit for hours, man. I love G.I. Joe. You have no idea.
If you like G.I. Joe, you would like this series of games. You would really do.
Which
this
one?
This is Strike Force Heroes.
I looked and I'm like, it's a Flash game, and I've missed it.
Yeah, this was my childhood. This was an integral part of my childhood. This was this was there's it's 2D arena shooter, like you have all that. It everything about it reminds me, if you like G.I. Joe, you would genuinely love this series of games, because the first and second games was about this was Team A. I think the original team, there's two separate teams. I think Team A was the events of the first game, which was they're fighting they're fighting a terrorist group called like you said, it's a lot like I think it's a ripoff of Cobra called Globex,
Felix, you cut so much, it's so annoying. I would love to listen to you.
Yeah?
Yeah, he cuts a lot.
Okay, so I'll keep it close. Yeah, but it takes a lot of inspiration from other media. You can see some elements of the MCU because they have this ripoff of the Quinjet. But for the most part, this seems to be inspired a lot by Metal Gear and by G.I. Joe.
No, that's the Twin Jet.
Yeah, and that sort of thing. They have, so it doesn't have too much of a coherent story, but there's Team 1 and Team 2. The first game talks about the events of Team 1.
Who cares about these stories, man?
But it's incorporated in how the characters and the character dynamic and how they work. Team 1, the first game wasn't written that well, but it is expressed that the first and second games have their own separate teams involved, the separate protagonist teams. Team A involved, Team Alpha I think was in the first game. Team Beta, I think Bravo team in the second game gets the most character development, because there's this whole thing about this whole over the top storyline of fighting clones of themselves or whatever, but and like there's this rip off Metal Gear 1 fight at the end, or Metal Gear Solid 1 fight at the end, where you fight the boss on top of a rip off Metal Gear. But you would love this thing because there's character betrayals, there's characters are given backstories. It's a multinational team. Like there's there's like a standard like masked infantryman like from all the Battlefield games, but he's supposed to be from the Canadian Army. There's this big reference to Predator, who is the American character who has like he's like supposed to be the support, the fire support of the group, where he's shirtless and he has a machine gun, so he's like the big tough guy. He's like based off several wrestlers, and he's based off of Blaine from Predator. Their designated marksman is a Korean gamer named, I can't remember his name, but he's supposed to be this like reference to, I guess, to the player, to esports or whatever. And their unofficial team leader was this sort of ex-spy from this former MI6 glowy, who was he was in the SAS and MI6. And I guess some reference to James Bond, but he's, I guess, also a reference to Captain Price, because he has a beret and everything. He's supposed to be the sort of like wise old leader that he's like been in it for a while. And I think that really is interesting. This sort of multinational private team based off of like roughly based off of G.I. Joe, and that kind of environment. And 3 doesn't have that much of a story because it's mostly just arena shooters or like grinding to get new characters. But you build your own team with their own special abilities. It's kind of a ripoff of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker or Metal Gear Solid 5, and where you play as the protagonist from the last game after the last game's Team Bravo got ended up getting fought against for the longest time. And I guess like the opportunities, because I always wanted this to be reimagined as some sort of like over the top FPS, and I really would value it. And for the most part, I did get what I asked for, because while not an FPS, this is a remastered version. But this inspired me to write an entire section of this sort of similar kinds of team, this sort of blend of a mercenary team that gets sent into this. Remember what I said about the Indonesian in this fucked up setting? Kilroy. Are you there, Kilroy?
The thing is that, don't forget, you cut a lot and we're delayed, and I'm trying my best to keep a Korean story over here.
Oh yeah, okay. So okay. It is, I have to like cut things out, because I understand this sounds incredibly cringe to the average viewer, but I guess if you've stuck with me long enough, you're familiar with what it is. I was inspired enough by the setting of 3 that I decided to build my own team in 3 and create a series of characters designed after that, where of this sort of a semi like Metal Gear inspired mercenary team that would go in and then get themselves hired by this because there was this whole multiverse mess thing going on. While that was happening, they would infiltrate that world and sort of liberate it from the regime while the enemy has their back turned. Get themselves hired to do some counterinsurgency work, and while over the top and highly ridiculous and highly garish, and a lot of the designs that I put on, I have this OC called Harper, and I'm afraid of mentioning him further, because you know what, I'm not going to elaborate on him, because doing so would reveal too much about myself. Reveal too much about like what I did before I went into PNG tubing. But like the kinds of OCs that I came up with was heavily ripped off from a lot of Kojima games, be it Metal Gear or Death Stranding. But I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun making and creating these sorts of characters and like these. That's the appeal of online roleplay to me.
That remind me
What
of the time
was
I was
it
doing.
wasn't necessarily playing it for the game or like playing it with a dice, because there's always some competitive element to TTRPGs, I feel, when you play with a dice or you play when you play with your characters. Of course you want to tell a compelling story, but you are playing it as an RPG. You are playing it like a with like you want to level up your characters, you want to get them better gear, you want to advance their story sometimes at the expense of
Yeah.
other people. But
And
when it comes to online
yeah.
role playing, when it comes to online role playing, you don't have that problem. And unfortunately, while there are people who want to do that as part of online role playing, there's always going to be bad eggs in a community who want to power wank and just like have their character kill all the other characters. But for those who want to tell compelling stories, even if they are over the top and even if they are like a bit extreme, online role playing is the best medium for that. That's while not a role play, because it is entirely written by me. Part of that is how I got into Fallout. 3 years ago in 2023, around 2023, I decided, you know what, this is how I got into Fallout. I just for the most part, my exposure to the Fallout series was Bethesda, which it's not really that good anymore. I still defend 3 as because I like the story and I like the characters. But 4 onwards, I have done entire streams about how I hate the TV show. How I hate the TV show. But looking at things back then, I just got into the interplay side of things. I got into New Vegas and that side of the story, and I was utterly fascinated by the factions and everything. I ended up starting to write a treatment for the story that I wanted to write, that is still ongoing now. For a treatment I wanted, and then because I had a lot of inaccuracies and I hadn't played the game for myself, in no, hold on, was it 20, like, I'm trying to remember the time frame of when I started this. Maybe it was several years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago, maybe it was 2. But I think this was before, this was before I started PNG tubing, when I had that fired up. And it led me into I started talking about it. I started not talking about it, but I started writing it, and I played the game for the first time, and then I got utterly sucked in to this sort of overarching what if for Fallout and what if for characters. Of course, there isn't necessarily that sort of appeal with figures and everything. The cosplay is a major thing in Fallout. So there's products, of course, there's merchandise, but everyone has to kind of cobble together things that they have themselves or references from the games, which is why only now is it getting wider media attention, and unfortunately for the wrong reasons.
I feel like you cut a lot.
I'm sorry.
I sort of kind of understand what you are trying to tell. It reminds me of the time I was doing roleplay. Now, I did say that in the RDMs that I was not going to talk about my stuff I did in the roleplay because...
Oh wait, Crispy. Oh good, I'm not the only tard rewriting Bethesda Fallout. You too? You too? I feel like this is all it's not unique. A lot of this stuff I say, everyone has... At this point, both of the success of New Vegas and its problems, combined with the utter failure of Bethesda to fix any of it and instead make it worse, a lot of different people have invested a lot of time, whether it be making mods or writing their own versions of the stories. It has that kind of appeal where not just what ifs for different sides of the factions or what ifs, but kind of fixing them in a way, fixing them as characters. And that's, I feel, the appeal of a lot of online writing or fan writing, which is I guess semi-related to RPGs, because a lot of the times we create characters in these universes, but we want to have their own takes on it. I follow a lot of artists on Twitter like Toffee32, known as Faust, and Half Eaten, who have their own takes on the characters. Who have their own takes on characters, and they sort of write their own scenarios of the characters, of the stories, of the people in them, and that's the appeal. That's such an appeal that to me that I still
Yeah,
like.
because it basically grounds your character in the universe that
Yeah,
like you appropriate the universe to yourself.
yeah, yeah.
And and it's gonna sound weird, but years ago, I had a similar problem, but it's gonna sound super whack. So hear
Well,
me out.
it can't be any
Hear
worse
me.
than my nation state story when like with the Indonesian and the things
Okay,
that I wrote with him. Okay,
so hear me out, okay?
yeah,
So back then I was playing Payday 2,
yeah.
and I felt, man, you know what would be a cool collab? Because I was, and I'm still is, on Reddit, and I would like to
Oh man,
clarify that I would like to clarify before people start throwing rocks at me that I filter the fuck out of the shit I look on Reddit. I only follow the shit I'm interested into. I do not actively engage in it. I just read, and I do not subscribe to r/all. I keep the
oh yeah, fuck that.
fuck away. Get the.
For like in the distant past, I was on Reddit, but I've long since gotten rid of that.
I
For
discovered Go Frontline on Reddit.
oh wow, huh?
Yeah.
I discovered I discovered it through friends here, through friends I met online on
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah, and honestly, like, and one of the things that pop up on the Payday subreddit was, what could be a cool collab that you guys would love to have? Because we had John Wick, we had Scarface, we had the Hardcore Henry,
Uh-huh.
we had the Speed, no, not Speed, we had the Breakpoint. Yeah, we had a lot of collabs. What could be a
Point
cool
Break,
collab?
Point Break.
Point Break, yeah, the old,
Uh-huh.
not the old one, the new one, the shitty one.
I don't even know I didn't even know there was a new Point Break.
Yeah, me neither. But apparently, it was so bad that people just forgot about it. And one of the things that I suggest was, hey, it would be cool to have a Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah, that would be really interesting.
And so
From
this is
yeah.
how it started. That I started to write a Payday Black Lagoon fan fiction.
That sounds fucking based. I have not gotten into Black Lagoon, but it really
Bro.
does seem like it seems like my kind of anime.
It is, brother. It's the. I'm not a fan of anime. I'm gonna tell you right away. I tried. Okay, I just cannot get into it because the only anime I likes are Black Lagoon, Gunsmith Cat, freaking Riding Bean, 91 Days, Licorice Recoil, and
I
gun
remember like
anime.
calling I kind of made it pass at like Chorus Recoil being a ripoff of Gunslinger Girl. I think that's how a lot of us felt.
Well,
I have not watched Gunslinger
because
Girl.
it's that, but it's also a
Its
gun
own-
anime for
its own
some
thing.
reason. It's a gun anime that features cute anime girl doing cute anime things.
Something that bothers
And,
me
like-
with like Chorus Recoil is hold on, let me look up one of the characters so I can
in
like
a way, because in a way, like it gets in the way of the fun part that I actually subscribe to, but it's like the character are fun enough and they're interesting on their own that I'm actively interested in their character stories, that I'm all right to like ditch a little bit of the gun stuff, even if the gun stuff sometimes I don't care about realism. Okay, I'm not gonna like check over all the details to see if every single part of the weapon is well made or everything.
That's it.
Man, I'm part of the school of rule of cool. Okay, and if it looks cool, if it looks great, and if it's badass, I'm going to do it. And
This is, I guess, my take on it is a little bit of like, well, this is gonna sound like a really stupid nitpick to you, because you just brought it up that you don't care about the realist. It like a part of me was a little bit bothered that Chisato's gun used in the anime is an airsoft gun.
Yeah.
It's based off of an airsoft 1911.
Hey
Which-
man, it looks
Yeah, it does.
cool.
It looks cool.
The
It looks cool.
compensator looks real fucking nice.
Yeah, the with the
fact
strike
that
face.
the fact that it's small, the fact that it fits her hands because she's still a teenager, so it makes sense that she's relatively built small. So they give them a small gun.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, well, that
Like,
makes perfect sense to me, and
although
I'm ready to roll with it.
was like
Like
a similar
the
problem
like,
that I had when watching Marvel Thunderbolts was some of the guns that they were using, specifically the ones used by the characters like Walker and Ghost, were built off of airsoft 2011s, which bugged me a lot because they treated them as real guns. Again, for the
and you
average
want to know
viewing audience,
something?
they don't give a
Yeah,
shit, and I
they
don't
don't
blame them for
care,
not giving a shit. But it
and me
bothered me
neither.
because I wanted to see like the full thing with blanks and everything. I'm kind
And
of that the hardcore
and
film
I,
enthusiast. I want like
and
real and
if I
everything.
would be running movies and everything, I won't mind. Like I would like to have. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the fucking GI Joe Pogo Ballistic Battle Ball. Later, random perv. But we talked a lot about GI Joe, so we're just gonna have to switch side a little
Oh,
bit.
GI Joe
But
Pogo Ballistic Bat. What the fuck is that?
please don't Google it right away. Um,
I won't. I won't. I think
but
that might mind break me too much.
we're gonna finish it with that.
Okay.
The thing is that as much as I would love to have blanks and everything, sometimes the airsoft guns are just cooler. Like I'm not good at Devil May Cry. As much as I try my best, I'm not built for that. I don't have the patience. I see cool dude with sword and guns, and I'm gonna like people tell me I would love Devil May Cry 2 because I just keep using Ebony and Ivory nonstop for every single reason. And they tell me you'd love
Yeah.
that game. I was like, I know this is insulting, but thank you very much. I'm actually going to play it someday. The thing is that it gives me like my it gave me my love for like long slides and
All long slow.
integrated compensators. For some reason, ever since I saw like the ivory as an integrated compensator, I was like, that shit's cool. And then years later, when they make the remade of Resident Evil 4 with the Silver Ghost 09, and it has an integrated compensator, I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting hard. Like,
Yeah, they
I
kind of
don't
look
know.
like they kind of look like the ones from Helsing.
Yes,
They
man.
kind of look like the Jackal and the other one, the Kasul.
And you know what's the weirdest thing is that I played Vampire the Masquerade, and my character in the game I made is like insanely similar to, like, I would say a very like, it's crazy, like the character looks, talks, not act, but as a similar fighting style as Alucard, he is in no way, shape, or form any similar to him. And yet,
Huh.
I've been said, you look like you play like him. Like, no, I don't. Alucard's an asshole to everyone. Oh man, the OG Ebony Ivory. Man, look at these things. Aren't they fucking cool?
They do. They do look pretty cool. I won't lie.
They look so freaking badass and shit. And like, and people tell me, oh, you use the guns in the game. Like, oh, you freaking pussy. Use the sword. Use the other good weapon. Man,
Why would you like? That's the thing. Why would you, if there's a gun available? Why wouldn't you use it?
like, why would I not
Why
use
like
it?
the swords are there when you run out of ammo.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
I know
why,
it's like, and
what's
the thing
the
is
point?
that,
What is the point?
and then I'm like, yeah, I understand. Like, you cannot do cool combos. Then fucking do it. Like, it's the whole reason. Like, John Wick came out in 2014. It's been 10 years. Nobody figured out how to make it into a video game.
Oh yeah, that
Like-
we have it. We only have John Wick Hex and the I think the other one.
And John Wick and Payday 2, which do nothing
Yeah, dude,
that John
nothing.
Wick does.
It doesn't do nothing with the character.
No, like, first of all, it doesn't have even the good. It doesn't have Keanu Reeves voicing him. The face doesn't look like Keanu Reeves. John Wick introduced Akimbo in Payday.
He doesn't do that in the movies. He
He
doesn't.
doesn't do. He does at one time in the fourth movie have a gun in a hand and a gun in the other and shoots at it, but it's clear that it's not Akimbo. It's not John Woo.
He just switches between them. He's not
Yeah,
he
exactly.
Just,
Yeah, exactly. And he
Yeah, it's mostly
discards
supposed
it
to be,
immediately after. He discards it immediately.
he's always been a
after.
single gun user. It's never
Exactly.
been
And for some reason, he's the guy to introduce Akimbo in Payday. The gun he brings is Peter the L, which is the gun he used in the first movie, and
Yeah, the
I
HKP 30L.
and I hate that they discard it because that's a signature pistol if I have ever seen one
In the movie or in the game?
in the movie.
Oh yeah, because admittedly, this is gonna sound
Because they're in tactical and everything.
Yeah, I
and
do. I don't
mind. I don't mind that.
I
but
don't. Can I be real?
Yeah, go ahead.
I fucking hate. I don't. I fucking hate Terran Tactical. I think it's like at least 70% of the stuff they put out of the guns they put out just look ass ugly, and I like John Wick for the action. I like it for the choreography and the cinematography.
I never had any problem.
As much as I love, I come there for the gunfights, but the guns themselves don't have any real appeal to me. It's only when they get into the 2011 side of the of getting Wick at 2011, which I feel is kind of his new signature after dropping the P30. I know he uses Glock.
What did you say? What did you say again about the 2011?
The 2011s, the double stack the double stack 1911s.
Yeah, the STI.
It's like a staccato. Hold on, let me
I think it's the STI Combat Master.
Yeah, that's the STI Combat Master. That kind of thing. Like, those are the only ones I have less of a problem with, and overall, I just don't like the aesthetic. It is pretty garish.
Well, that for me, like, I don't mind that at all. I love the selection of weapon of John Wick in every movie. My only complaint for his gun selection is the Continental Shootout.
Oh yeah, that's why that's why 3 is my least favorite. That is straight up why 3 is my least favorite. The why doesn't he pick a rifle?
Yeah,
why does he pick an SMG that isn't semi-auto only?
He's gonna get he's gonna get assaulted by freaking emissaries. Like he knows that. And Sharon says they have made armor improvement.
Oh. Why doesn't any of them? Honestly, it's the lack of continuity.
MPX, and then he brings the MPX.
Yeah, this fucking thing. I hate this thing, man. It's so ugly.
Not for me. I love it, but I just hate the fact
it doesn't make sense.
Well, don't forget that for me, it's all about the looks. And if it looks cool, I'm going to give it
one bone to pick that one major bone to pick that I have in John Wick 3, in that scene specifically. It's previously, it's introduced in 2 that Wick has bulletproof suits. Why does the Continental security guards have bulletproof suits? Why don't they have plate carriers? Why doesn't Sharon have plate carriers? Why does he have to be only protected by plot armor? Why do they only have handguns? They have a full ass armory, and their Winston's bodyguards go out there with basic ass pistols, and they're going up. His bodyguards go up against fucking juggernauts with pistols and soft armor that doesn't even protect them against anything.
And the freaking guards in Osaka did a better job with bows and arrows.
Bows and arrows.
And it's a pet peeve on mine. Bows and arrows in the modern day setting.
They're in the US. They should be able to have this full arsenal for everything. Why don't they have they at least show them putting up a fight? They're just like these fucking red shirts that go out. The Continental Guards just exist to die for reasons that I cannot comprehend.
And Sharon just survives because
they forgot who he was for 5 minutes. They all focus on Wick.
And the thing, and yes, it's the fact that Wick comes with a submachine gun and a pistol to fight these armored dudes.
Why did he find something that could penetrate level 4?
Why did they not start it with the Benelli M4 and the slugs? Why they didn't start it? I'm being told, okay, my enemy is he fucking says they made armor improvement.
Yeah,
okay,
it gets told to him to his face.
Give me AP weapon and we're done. We're done in the afternoon.
They were in New York City. Yeah, but it's the fucking Continental, man. The hot spot for illegal weapons trading in the entire city. At least the more ethical side. Yeah, they have the wars. They have They have M4s. They have everything they want. They have AKs. They have
the fucking they have equipment better than the U.S. military
They have
inside
belt.
that building.
They have
use
belt
none of
fans,
it,
and they didn't use them. It was just there for like one prop scene. Why didn't they? Like, I guess because it would be too unbelievable for John Wick to use a belt fed. Why didn't the Continental bodyguards or Winston's bodyguards use the belt fed that is in the vault?
Would have been
What
great.
is-
Would you imagine? Would you imagine a fucking like and do gun fu with it?
Yeah.
I wanna see how good John Wick is with a belt fed, and if he's that good. If he's that good, he can do it in his sleep. But I'm not gonna talk shit anymore about John Wick. John Wick is incredible.
It is.
I love it. And
Like, you know, when I saw the trailer for, did you see the trailer for Ballerina?
Oh man.
I'm excited for Ballerina, but I was like, I got really scared for a moment because they were showing off, ooh, Keanu's in this movie. I got really fucking scared that, like, is this set after 4?
Yeah, after Uber 4.
Yeah, but thankfully they confirmed it. It's not. It's set in between 3 and 4, so he's still alive.
Oh, it's in between 3 and 4.
So
That's
like
man.
They
Yes,
have an excuse for him being alive. They have an excuse for him being like alive and like recovering and all that, where he can act as a mentor character.
I'm gonna say it real quick. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He just leave him alone. Leave him alone.
No, for real. Leave him the fuck alone.
Leave him alone. Just
like he did everything.
There's a lot of characters that I don't want to die. That I don't want to die. He was one character. They ended his arc. Just let him rest. Let him fucking rest.
He did everything. Like, bro, he did everything. He went against all odds, and he died a free man.
Yeah, he died peacefully.
Yeah, like I'm good. I'm super good.
It's kind of like there are specific characters that I want to that I believe should have died, or other characters that I believe should have lived. Ethan Hunt in the new Mission Impossible that's coming out this month. I will not be surprised if they kill off the character, but I wouldn't. But honestly, I would like they call it the final reckoning for a reason. If they kill off the character by the end, I would be satisfied because he's had his 8-movie run and he's experienced all these adventures where he had a solid arc, and it would make sense for him to die in that last one.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think like all of them, and even the ones people don't like Mission Impossible 2, I think that I'm gonna say it right away. All of them were good.
Yeah, all of them have value. Even if 2 wasn't the best, it clearly has a lot of problems.
Bro, it's a John Woo movie.
It's a John
Woo movie. Shut the fuck up. That's the end of the conversation. It's a movie made by John Woo while he was still in his prime.
Yeah, when he was still in his prime.
Like,
I do feel like kind of John Woo. They gave Mission Impossible to him, and then he decided, what if I want my own James Bond, and that it sort of fell into that sort of Die Another Day. Of course, Mission Impossible 2 is still it's still has better cinematography than Die Another Day, but it falls into that early 2000s sort of.
What? And you know what? Another take. I love Die Another Day. Love Die Another Day.
When it comes to James Bond movies, Die Another Day is one of those. You love to hate it because
I love it.
I love to hate it, but there are so many parts of it that I unironically love. I drank a fucking Cuba Libre when I saw that movie. I poured and made myself a Cuba Libre just for that mojito scene because it's.
I'm not gonna pretend this movie is perfect. I'm just gonna say this movie is James Bond.
It's fun. It's fun. It's like
it's camp.
Do I want my other James Bond movies to be like it? No. Fuck no. No. But as a standalone thing, it's kind of as a standalone thing, Die Another Day is just it's fun. It's unashamedly fun. There's a lot of aspects of it that could have worked a lot better, but they had a lot of good ideas.
For me, for me, the fact it's so whack. For me, it's like it's a video game. It's a face and say, yeah, but Daniel Craig was better. No.
It wasn't. No,
Daniel Craig. For me, Daniel Craig. There's no Royale, Skyfall. That's it.
Yeah, which is kind of.
And even
Actually, something that
Skyfall
you
would
wanted to
say,
bring, something that you wanted to bring up. You always said that you wanted a Nolan Bond movie. To me, the Daniel Craig series has felt more like the Nolan, like what we got of a Nolan Bond than anything else coming up, because it was that sort of dark and gritty, that grounded take on the character.
yeah,
That is,
but it has none of Nolan's charm into it. And in
eh,
a way, I would agree that you are right, but we still never seen what he could do, and that's the whole thing for me. I
it
think
would.
he would still do a good Bond movie, and the fact that if he doesn't do a Bond movie, I will die happily with it, because at the end of the day, I have Tenet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember some people saying that Tenet was his, like if he was
It
given
is
James
it
Bond,
is it
he would
is
be
it
that would be
absolutely
his
is.
version.
It absolutely is, and everyone in chat, go watch Tenet. It's an
Yeah, Tenet.
order. It's the boss telling you to do it. I love Tenet to like, bro. I've watched this movie like
To
15
me,
times,
if
including
can I
in
say
theaters. Yeah,
can
go
I
ahead,
say
go ahead.
something controversial?
Yeah, go ahead.
I like Inception more than Tenet.
I'm a fucking god.
Like, I look, Inception. It's unironically,
No.
it's one of my favorite action movies. Next to next to Heat. It's Inception. Like
I'm
as
I'm
a
not
high
going to.
concept action movie, Inception is one of my favorite action
And I'm
movies
not going to
overall.
lie to you. It is. It's absolutely a roller coaster, and you have all
Because
the right to love it. But Tenet for me was, bro, I've never seen a movie like that. It's such a, and watching it 15 times, now I'm the part of appreciating Tenet, but I'm at the part of like, now I see just the flaws and like the little nitpick of like, why he did that? Why was that necessary? What was the point of doing that? And it kind of sucks the fun out of it. And for me, I'm like, that's why I need to go back and wait.
I
And like
remember
just,
watching Tenet at home with my dad and my mom the day after my
and
graduation from high
you
school.
understood nothing. You looked at it with the confused eyes, and you said, "What the fuck is anything happening? What the fuck are these guys are saying? How does this whole backward thing works?"
Yeah, it's like a lot of it is never elaborated on.
And
I
that's the
like a lot
beauty.
of it, like to me, like I want to like Tenet. I really do. I like the characters. I think they're
You have
really
to,
interesting.
but you have to take it
But the plot, it's
it's a,
just the
you
plot.
have to take it like this. It's a cold movie. You know when they say it's a cold opening, when it just gives you the intro without context, and it just, you have to follow along. The whole movie's like that, and that's just feel it. That's
Yeah, but I
the
feel
whole
like
movie. The whole movie asks you to just don't try to understand it. You won't understand it on the first go. Just appreciate what's happening on the screen and let the weird time wibbly effect blow your mind. Then after a couple of what the fuck is happening, and trying to rewrite
it's an entertaining movie, and I would absolutely love to watch it. Like keep watching it. But to me, it's
Wait, can you rewind that? It cuts a little bit. I want to hear.
like I would say it's a very entertaining movie. I love watching it, but it doesn't have that narrative cohesion that Inception does, that Interstellar does. Those two, Inception, like besides the Nolan Batman movies, Inception and Interstellar have extremely well written plots that you like, even with the extreme elements and the psychedelic elements and like the mind bending, like mind break elements, you understand it. Tenet is disconnected.
And that's the fun of Tenet. It's that
That's
it
disconnected.
still,
Tenet is disconnected in a way that
and
I
I'm gonna
can't
tell you
say the
you're wrong,
same.
because the movie does have that, but it's told in such a massive, confusing way that the fun of it is figuring it out. It's like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not start by watching Tenet. I've started by
Oh.
watching videos breaking down Tenet, and not
Oh.
just breaking down with like guys talking. No. With 3D models trying
Oh.
to repiece the entire, like the chase scene. It was the first video I've watched. I remember it. Trying to
Oh.
understand how the car chase scene worked, and like watching it, rewinding it, and then watching it again. I'm like, oh my god, this is.
It
so
is one of
freaking
those
complex.
overanalyzation movies. It re-
It's the beauty of just like watching and then being like, this makes no sense, and then you rewind it, it's like, oh my god, everything makes sense, and then you do that for the rest of the movie, and everything just, oh, it just pieced it out all together like a puzzle, but that you just move one piece and the rest of the piece just falls together perfectly. It's complicated on purpose because it's a time war. You have, like, the past and the future meet together and collide with each other. The future
like
is
I
attacking the
always know.
past.
To me, there's elements of future events happening in Tenet. Of like, there's stuff and like various things occurring in the future. There's things occurring in the past, and then like and despite the what is it, the turnstiles and the switching, what's the term for it,
Yeah, when they inverse,
when
when
the
they do
inversion,
inverting.
whenever they invert, it's always in the present. It's like there's, despite always despite all this stuff going on with future events, I keep on like, there isn't a connection I can make to those future events where all the inversion and the core action of the story still occurs in what is like the past or present to me. And I think part of that is why I don't like it as much as Inception or Interstellar, because those always they connect their threads by the end. To me, the movie left that thread hanging. Tenet left that
And
thread hanging.
I'm so mad that your connection cuts up because I was so free. I wanted so much to understand what you don't get about the movie, but at the end of the day, Tenet is not for everyone. Tenet
Yeah.
is, you have to approach it with knowing that you're in for a roller coaster.
It is not. It
that
is not
you're-
for the casual viewer.
No. That's why it bombed. That's why people just didn't get it. That's why people still tell, oh, it's a overrated piece of crap. Nolan went up his head and everything's like, yeah, that's Nolan for you, bitch. That's what Nolan does. He just went so far with it that it makes the whole thing so fun. And for me, like you said, it's like, what if Nolan made his a James Bond? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's so freaking peak. It's so good. I would like take 15 more of these, please. I need a whole
The
freaking
thing is,
saga.
to me,
And one last thing before you go.
Yeah.
But knowing Nolan doesn't like sequels. I'm so happy that we only get that. I would kill to get more, but we got Tenet, and we got it the way we got it, and I'm like, I wouldn't ask it any other way.
I guess one of my major complaints against, besides me thinking that Nolan just isn't the kind of person who would do a James Bond movie well, it's that in the past, a lot of directors, a lot of high-profile, like, big budget.
Stay close to your computer.
Oh yeah,
man.
a lot of like big budget directors, a lot of high-profile big budget directors want to do a James Bond movie of their own. Steven Spielberg, for example, created Indiana Jones because Eon Productions wouldn't let him touch James Bond. For example, Quentin Tarantino, being another present one, is
Hey, he got snubbed. Casino Royale. Yeah.
yeah.
Would you imagine? Just hold on a second, fellas. Level with me. James Bond, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Picture it.
Looking
Picture
at
in
it,
your head.
I
How
wouldn't
the-
like. Again, this is my
How-
other controversial opinion.
You
I
wouldn't like it?
I would not like a Tarantino Bond movie, both because of his style that I feel isn't suited for James Bond, and because of the things that he said he would incorporate, like having it be set in the past. I'm one of those people who thinks like all the Bond movies should remain contemporary. It should not be set in the past, like, because Casino Royale proved that a past story, like a story from like written in the 50s, could be adapted to the modern 2000s era pretty
And
well.
you cut so much. It's so
So I'm
well.
sorry. Anyways, so Casino Royale proved to me that a story in the past could work effectively and best when adapted to modern circumstances, modern technology, the modern situation. And so I really don't want a James Bond set in the past, which is something Tarantino does. And I feel like it wouldn't be my style. He would film it in black and white when a lot of the when the hallmark of like Bond movies have been their visual style and color. I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it.
That's actually a problem I have with the James Bond of today. That's why like as much as I'm excited to like continue to see the future of James Bond, in actuality I feel like a lot of the modern landscape of just geopolitics and technology just killed James Bond. You don't need James Bond anymore. Everything you can do, everything he does, you can do it behind a screen. And for me, the fact that technology advanced so much, I know it's not a great representation, like it's not the best of example, but I saw a short on YouTube that basically like compared 1960 James Bond to today, and it's like it's so boring now. You cannot do like the Spectre, like the way they tackled Spectre in the movie of the same name just guts me, because you have this super like this legendary like next to the Nazis, it's Spectre in terms of like international criminal organization with the suit, the logo, and the villain and the henchman and everything, like the quintessential bad guy faction. And they did so bad with it. It's so nuts. I looked at it with pain in my eyes, like,
I mean,
oh
for
my
me,
god, it was I was basically beating my dick as I was watching this movie, man. It was awful. Hated it. Every single bit of it. Trying to connect like the threads of the previous movie into saying like it was me, James. It was me all along. Like,
it doesn't work.
Bullshit.
It doesn't work. It could have been planned better, but despite the really obvious issues with Spectre, it is one of my.
They saw what the MCU did and said, let's do the same thing. Let's make everything connected.
Yeah.
The difference is that the MCU was
The MCU is the MCU. The James Bond is James Bond. Keep those things separate. Like they do not take from the other. But one of the things that I will say I do like about Spectre is that it felt like the only Daniel Craig Bond movie where he plays James Bond. It doesn't like a lot of the time it didn't feel like himself for a lot of the of course in Casino Royale it could have been justified and Quantum of Solace but as much as I like Skyfall, it doesn't feel like he doesn't feel like he's playing Bond. In Spectre, he feels like he's playing almost like this sort of Pierce Brosnan or Roger Moore type of character. He's still tough, he's still somber, but he's willing to take a joke once in a while. And that's what I liked about the script, is that they tried to be funny with it. They try, like, of course, in some places it failed, but it was the only time that he felt like he was playing something true, like closer to the character. And in terms of the faction Spectre, on the contrary,
you cannot tell me that this shit was like
it was like it wasn't like how the movie handled it was not good, but out of like writing them as modern day villains, I would argue is never a more ripe time in the age of like in the age of what we have real life like NGOs and secret societies coalescing with government conspiracies and corporations and all that. Spectre would be like having the shadowy organization that, true to the name, just sticks to the shadows, no insignia, always operating behind some kind of cover, some kind of fake operation, some kind of false flag, always operating like that, always under, which is why my gripes with Pantheon was in Black Ops was why are they flying their flag so overtly when they could stick to the shadows and operate as this highly secretive organization that has to be unraveled by the main character. And
that's the difference between me loving G.I. Joe and Cobra and you loving real military shit, is that I'm all of it for the aesthetics, for the look and how cool it looks, and my bad guys My bad guys need uniform. My bad guys needs to have emblems on their uniform. They need to have a identifiable weapon. They need to have a big war cry, and they need to look mean while all doing
Mm,
all of that. In today's age, having drip kills you. That's the
yeah.
facts. Having
Yeah.
drip, looking cool, trying to do something badass gets you killed, and that's reality, and
Yeah,
that's the
that is.
reason why I'm not into it that
I
much.
guess I guess my take on my interest in contemporary fiction, I like the intrigue that comes out of it. Again, which is part of why I like not like not just because of the writing itself, but why Black Ops campaigns are my favorite part of Call of Duty. Not 3, not Black Ops 3. I did not like that. But the this that sort of conspiracy thriller edge is what I appreciate so much. That sort of espionage spy thriller edge is what I like about and that's why I like Winter Soldier in the MCU in Marvel is because of that like of not of Hydra is operating within Shield using Shield as a false flag because
That
that's
was
how like the
that
real
was
bad like
cool.
that's how
That was
realistic bad
that
guys
was cool, and
that
I hate it so much. You have no idea how much I hate. I loved on the first
the
watching.
first
Oh man,
Avenger.
that's cool. Yeah, man. Oh, Hydra infiltrated Shield. Man, that's such a badass plot point. The freaking. Oh my god, Shield's evil now. They're gonna get rid of the agencies of the good guys, like the normal non-supers. They're
Well,
gonna get rid of them.
I mean, arguably it was because of the severe audits and try and like it like I guess in universe it would have been a necessary evil to get rid of
Just,
Shield because
I
well
just,
it's
man, it
because that's how
it
federal
sucks so
agencies
much
are.
from me.
The
It
the
sucks
bad
so much
guys
from
are in
me.
so deep that sometimes you gotta cull the good guys in order to get to them, or like put the good guys out of a job in order to get the bad guys where they're hiding. Because I guess that's
Yeah, and
that was the
I
more
get it,
realistic
but
aspect of it.
I get it, but the fact that they got rid of the agency entirely, and now
I
the
think
world was
as
only
like
protected by.
unrealistic and funny the helicarriers were, they instead of like literally scrapping them, they should have transferred them to the regular military. Should have transferred them to the Air Force and all that. Have them service it instead of Shield. They should have
I,
transferred a lot of the stuff that they had to the regular army, to the regular military.
but that's the thing. Like, what's the role of the army in that kind of world now?
I mean, as a thought experiment, I did with a few friends. I realized that for all like okay, part of the reason why besides the very overt like political themes that are just both uncomfortable and not well thought out in the first place, part of the reason why I dislike Black Panther in the MCU is because even with the vibranium tech and everything and oh we're so like we have super tech and we're sealed off from the rest of the world, you're not. Quite frankly, they're not. Literally, they're not. If we've seen if we take any of the sci-fi capabilities of the US and Russia that are and like that are displayed in the MCU, Wakanda isn't strong. They're just like yes, they would be a difficult enemy to fight, but they would like they are still vulnerable to
And
being
the
outmaneuvered
hey,
because
fucking nothing. A couple of nukes can
yeah,
glass. Fuck's
literally,
sake.
literally, they are functionally powerless. They are the like, oh, we're this big powerful nation. No, you're not. You are the MCU equivalent of Taiwan. We only keep you around because you produce a valuable resource that the world cannot function without, or even the world does function without it, or like it's just that everyone wants their materials and they have like it's
The material is not been proven to be like.
analyzing the geopolitics of the MCU, it's like it is looking at Taiwan or Venezuela
Well,
or Saudi
well, you
Arabia.
want to know? You want to know something? I think what looking at the geopolitics of the MCU is like looking at the geopolitics of your Indonesian friend.
Yeah, it is fucked up. It doesn't make well, I mean, I guess part of the appeal there is kind of the same way as it is in looking at the geopolitics of GI Joe. There's fictional
Yeah, bro.
countries
Like,
with
holy shit! Do
real
you like? Would you imagine the fucking logistic of trying to figure out the shit and like, holy crap, man! This is like, man, this kind of like they have like dozens of like dictators and criminals, and I know it's like that in real life, but like telling me that they're all freaking backed by freaking Cobra and everything,
Yeah,
like
it
dude,
is. It is a bit but I guess that's the charm for some people of like of having that depiction of politics or geopolitics in fantasy worlds comes from how over the top it can get and how real countries like the US and Russia and NATO and all these countries like can in response become over the top in response to it. You can see how just how Shield became over the top in its attempt to defeat Hydra. Like GI Joe became over the top as a US military like
you
affiliate
wanna you
became
wanna
over the top in an
know
attempt to defeat Cobra.
you wanna know something that like is gonna like it's weird. It's
Don't
like
insult Taiwan
since
by
what
comparing it to Wakanda. True. Well, I
and
can use it as ammunition against someone we know, Foxtrot. Against someone we know to insult him because we only keep you around for the
fucking
microchips
I fucking hated Wakanda as South American. It's an awful representation of the
of
continent,
the
and I found
continent.
it
I found it
downright
generally.
insulting.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
because they
yeah.
genuinely don't understand African culture either. Like they try to make it empowering. They don't understand African culture at all. Um,
Oh, and
did
what?
didn't
That's
they
one
make the
thing.
conflict between U.S. and Japan and Brave New World?
Yeah,
Yeah, because Marvel
bro.
is fucking afraid of China, but they're
Yeah,
too pussy to fucking
the
call out.
Hollywood is afraid of China, bro. When they made the remake of Red Dawn, the original enemy was
Was
supposed to be
China,
China,
and they
and
changed it to
then
North Korea for reasons unknown.
they had to CGI every single flag,
Yeah,
and
it was
and they
originally
missed
going to be
and they
China.
missed and they missed a lot of them, and
There
they
are people
basically
who
like
think the MCU is military propaganda. That's fucking bullshit. None of them understand what military propaganda even is.
people just say shit on Twitter nowadays. Like I don't take anything serious. I
But
shared this. I
jokes
shared. Yeah,
aside, my joke
you have
about
heard
Wakanda
about
being Black Taiwan that was a little bit too far. My like that was a little that was bad. I would like to apologize to Taiwan because I do have Taiwanese friends. I have Taiwanese Oshis in the VTuber sphere.
well.
I don't want to insult
I'm
them too much. I just want to come after one guy that I like to make fun of.
one thing
I don't
like
hate Taiwan at all. I don't hate Taiwan at all. I just want to say that.
one thing that like I wanted to tell you, and I shared that with Yike. I'm gonna
Oh
share it with you is, and I'm gonna share it to the internet now. Is that I believe that there's another big internet theory that people are seen to be missing out, and I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. So you have heard about the dead internet theory, like the whole bot and everything?
yes, of course.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you a couple of questions. At what age, and now please be honest with me, at what age did you start using social media?
Um, do you mean like mass scale social media or something like Discord?
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Skype, not Skype, but like
Twitter,
MySpace, like
like Reddit was a couple years ago, but I never invested too much time into it. It wasn't like
well,
it didn't become a fixture in my life.
let me rephrase the question. Were you underage when you started using these things?
What?
Were you under 18?
Reddit, yes.
Okay,
Twitter, no.
cool.
I waited until I was over 18 to use Twitter. Reddit,
Cool,
when,
well,
like when
cool.
I briefly had the account, I was underage.
Okay, cool. Let me tell you something. I started using Facebook at the age of 12, 13. And I should
Fucking
have
hell.
not because it's
Fucking
because
hell.
yeah. And my mom didn't want me to
Okay,
use
actually,
it, but
gonna interrupt you. Something that I forgot to say was YouTube. For
yeah.
both of us, YouTube counts as mass social media, and
Oh
that
yeah, okay.
was started like when we were children. We were literal
Yeah.
children when we got our accounts.
I did like remove that option from Yike, but because I don't take YouTube as a social media, but like I mean it is, and I don't know why I said no to him last time, but we're going to take it as it is. We were under 18, and that's not even a freaking question, right?
Yeah.
Well, from that understanding, it's perfectly acceptable to believe that the next generation after us did the same thing and also started using social media at an extremely early age.
A Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I am fully convinced that the whole reason why the world is, I would say, woke and overly politicized and everything is because we're arguing with children,
Can
actual
I?
children. And the whole reason is because we're giving them the opportunity to tell their opinion on a pedestal, and we're taking these opinions seriously.
Yeah. Well, the issue. Well, of course, I encounter them. I unfortunately encounter minors an unhealthy amount on Twitter, but I will say they are only a very small percentage of the problem when it comes to. And I feel like young
You
internet
cut a
theory. Yeah,
lot.
young
You
internet
you
theory.
you
I feel
cut
like
you
they're.
cut a lot.
I'm sorry. I feel like they like the children on the internet. Yeah, they are a problem, but they're only a very small fraction of it to me. Um,
Yeah, but don't understand how many of them are given phone at an extremely early age because parents don't want to raise their children anymore.
yeah.
Like, have you noticed that nowadays kids that were our age when we started using these things are getting more and more freaking to have phones and direct access to internet and direct
Yeah.
access to social media, like at fingertips.
I think the most unhealthy, I guess more unhealthy part of how I got introduced to the internet, I was on iFunny during middle school. I was
Ah, oh
and
man,
yeah,
what an era.
it was that bad for on
What
my
an era.
end. And
I
I think
was extremely
because we had
confused
that bias because we did it ourselves, but I think we should be trying to be more conscious of where minors and like general children are on the internet.
Well,
And
I'm afraid to say that because of the way internet works, there's no real way.
yeah, there's no definitive way of keeping children off without
And
heavily restricting or censoring the internet, which is something that should be
yeah,
fought against with every step.
yeah, and the thing is that when they're going to do that, because it's going to happen, I strongly believe that the net crash as seen in Cyberpunk is at some point going to happen. Because there's no way this shit is sustainable. Like
Mm.
because at some point someone's gonna have to pull the plug, even if
This is where I say it's on the parents. Yeah, it's on the parents. It is their responsibility to parent their children.
no fucking parents wants to take the responsibility because nobody wants to be responsible nowadays. Nobody wants to take accountability. No one wants to say, "Oh, why do you think people still gonna bitch and moan about GTA 6 coming out? They did it with GTA 4, 5, they did it with 3, San Andreas, Vice City. They always gonna do it, and the next school shooting is gonna happen right after GTA
They're gonna
6.
blame it on GTA.
They're gonna blame it on fucking GTA because that's the only thing these people can do. Blame it on something else.
It's the guns. It's the media. No, it's people. It's
You!
people.
It's
Yeah, it's
fucking
you.
you!
It's you. You are you let your child become this way.
Yeah, like, who radicalized me? You fucking did, idiot! Like, I would like I was perfectly happy living in my little peaceful life, doing my little peaceful thing, playing GTA Vice City on my PC with my mom, while she was looking horrified while I was driving a car that looked like hers over pedestrians. But I understood it was a video game
Yeah,
because guess the fuck what? It was a video game, and that was the whole fun of it. And
I
I
think
knew that in real life,
there was a time in my childhood where like in my very young childhood where I wasn't allowed to like consume like I could only consume violent media in secret because like my parents were afraid of me getting influenced by stuff or like there were times when I had toy guns but my parents took them away because they thought I was like being influenced by stuff when it didn't have a basis in reality but it like it was still there that sort of fear was still there and
my mom had the same. My mom hated the fact that my dad let me play games like GTA Vice City. I vividly remember when I was a kid, and okay, it was, I shit you not, it was The Godfather, the video game for the Wii, and my mom
oh wow that's old
and
oh wow that's
my mom. By the way, great game, absolute fantastic game. If
uh-huh
you get the
does it
chance to
follow the
play it,
story of does it follow the
and
story of the movies
Yeah, but it
Oh.
plays like differently, and it plays through the eyes of a character that does not exist in the movies. But it's like, because you have to understand, the movie is not made to be a video game, yet
Of
they
course
did
not.
it.
Of course.
So how do you make a game about a movie that is mostly dialogue into a third-person shooter similar to GTA? You introduce a character that does not exist, and you make him do all the things that happen behind the screen.
Oh,
Who
like
chop?
whenever
So
whenever
who?
they whenever they
So who?
discuss like their crime operations, it's him doing it. Like all the
Yeah. So who?
dialogues.
Yeah. So who planted the gun for Michael?
Oh,
It's you.
it was you. It
So
was your character.
who chopped the head of the horses and gave it to the movie producer? It
Oh.
was you and Reese. Who killed the Dons? It was you.
Oh, huh. So
So
everything
they,
that happens either like as a side character or like was the responsibility of a minor
like
made man
yeah,
was you.
justify, every time they say, "Oh, this is going to happen." Like, you know the scene in the movie where they like kill where they kill like the mole, the guy that told about the Godfather in the
Oh
take
yeah,
take
the gun that they
they
strangled.
leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, it's you.
Oh, you're the guy. You're the gun you're the guy who shoots the driver.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's basically like it's the movie, but just like but through your eyes.
It's a ground level perspective on the movies.
Yeah.
Are you like do you go to Italy and like protect Michael while he's there as well?
No, I'm afraid you stay in town. You stay
I know
the
new Mafia game. The new Mafia game is going to Sicily.
It's gonna take place
in Sicily.
Sicily. So
that's
gonna be
cool. That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. Actually, big recommendation. Go play Godfather 1. It's a great. It's old. It's very old. It aged like crap. But
I have the original Mafia downloaded to my one of the few games that I have downloaded to my computer.
Man,
should I play that on stream or like? I should
Mafia 1? No. Mafia 1? Nah, brother. I love Mafia 1, but play the remaster. Like,
play the remaster?
I have suffered through the original. I have suffered. It's very rough. I finished it through sweat, tears, and pain, and
like it's one of the hyper janky games, right?
It's insanely janky. Like the shooting.
It's kind of if you check back on like a few streams on my channel, I played Far Cry 1. It was not fun. I like shooters. I like a lot of shooters. Far Cry 1 was not fun. It had a lot of interesting features,
but it's jank. It's old.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
I'm gonna say it outright. The only reason why I prefer Mafia 1 over GTA 3 is because I can actually aim guns in Mafia. Like I can sort of aim, but that's the only redeeming quality I really give it. Like
Random Perf says I enjoyed Far Cry 1. I didn't, because you can check back on my streams and you can see that I keep dying because this game is fucking stupid. They can they can
see through walls. They see through walls.
The guards can see me 500 meters away if the stealth meter is full, but they can't hear it when I mag dump an M4 next to their head. They are they have supervision, but they're fucking deaf. Every single one of them.
Well, to come back to my Godfather story, my mom did not want me to play this game because it was The Godfather, and The Godfather was a violent movie. So you know what my dad did? My dad basically said, "Okay, son, we're gonna watch The Godfather."
Oh wow, yeah. That's how my dad was too. They we didn't play many games together, but he did show me a lot of stuff that was before.
He made me watch Vanishing Point, which is not a movie I was supposed to watch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, he made me watch The Godfather 1. I didn't understand nothing of it. And then my mom saw me playing the game and she was super angry. And then my dad was like, he was going to play it anyway. So what you gonna do about it? It's like, okay, whatever, but I don't want him to become violent or anything. And all it made me do was, well, look at my PNG right now and then you can understand what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game and this movie made me realize that the Mafia is actually really freaking cool, and then the Soprano made me realize that it's not.
Yeah, it's not. The day-to-day life of I guess part of my tism when it comes to, well, of course everyone has military tism. My dad's Roman Empire, his autistic fixation, is organized crime throughout history. I guess like I'm more into it than he is, but he watched a lot of mafia shows because in the Philippines growing up in the I think in the early 80s and late
So
90s.
restart what you said because
Hold on,
it
give
was
me a
so
second. I
interesting.
need to
But
use the
yeah, yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. So, hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to take control of the stream and tell you that I like y'all and you're pretty funny and I actually really love chatting with Felix and he's a great guy. You should come to my Discord channel and you should also subscribe to my channel on Twitch, which is the Kilroy Speakeasy.
Yeah, when you do, if anyone is on Twitch, because unfortunately I'm not like a big Twitch fan, so I rarely watch.
Yeah, me
But
neither. I
everyone
don't
who
like
is on Twitch,
but
go sub to Kilroy. He does like, I think similar stuff to what I do. It's more gameplay focused, right?
I stream rarely. It's been a while since I've been streaming. Like I should stream more often, but sadly I'm a stoner, and being stone just caps any motivation I have to stream, and I don't want to stream stone. So yeah, no.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I should stop smoking. And one little thing I would love to tell you, my friend, it's 10:24 where I live, and I should be.
Yeah,
in
it
my
is here as
bed.
well. I was wondering like when are we gonna cut stream?
We're going to have to cut it off in a
Yeah.
moment. I feel like we can finish until like 22:30. Like it could be like a cool way to cut it off, but
Yeah, but I guess that
yeah, but just
I
man,
can't remember what I was gonna say before I left.
well, I'm going to say it. Movies are cool. Real life suck. I like my escapism. There's a reason why I love The Matrix. There's a reason why I love John Woo. There's a reason why I love mafia movies, and there's a reason why I think like movies like Die Another Day or campy movies like freaking Wild Wild West or shit like that. Like people think like, oh, it's 2000 camp. Yeah, 2000 camp was camp, but it was also
It was
creative.
nostalgia for a lot of people.
It was creative and also it was honest. And I think that now
It's a valuable level of escapism for that era.
Man, people talk shit about the old Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, and I'm like, man.
I didn't even know Ben Affleck did a Daredevil movie.
Colin Farrell played Bullseye.
Oh.
Bro, it's incredible. Colin Farrell already is a god tier actor. He's like he's comic accurate. But that's the problem. He's comic accurate in a live action movie.
Okay.
He's comic accurate in a live action 2000 movie, dare I say. So the camp is like extra there. He even has the bullseye scar on his forehead.
Oh, okay.
Like it's that bad. But hey, bro, like there's a reason why the Resident Evil movie succeeded.
Yeah, why they keep making more of them.
Yeah, why they keep making more of these fucking that follows none of the lore.
No, yeah,
They
it
just,
is.
like-
It is completely disconnected from any of the games.
Fuck Zodiac Signs, who's your favorite morally corrupt video game faction? Who
And
we
from
have?
World-
We have
a lot of the. This was like our starting screen. A lot of them. I mean,
like they're old, but like
Outer Heaven is kind of the obligatory one, isn't it? Because it's Outer Heaven.
Yeah, it's Outer Heaven. Yeah, like that's the reason why we really need a remake of MG1 and 2. Like,
Yeah, I feel like that's what Kojima was going for after the end of 5, was a full-on remake of Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2
and
before
that's
the events of
reason why
Solid.
When people ask me like, I want to get into Metal Gear, how do I play the game? I say, okay, first of all, you don't play them chronologically, you play them in that way, and you play Metal Gear 3, you play 1 and 2, you then play 4, then you play 3, and then you play Peace Walker, then you play
the big boss saga and the Solid Snake saga being separate, and then the
you need to
and
play
then
them
the
separately.
ideal being the remakes of Metal Gear 1 and 2, tying the
And then
Big Boss and the
would you,
Snake storyline
yeah,
together.
that would have been epic, because that would have been like Metal Gear 4, Metal Gear Solid 4 is like the ending of Solid Snake's story, but Metal
Yeah.
Gear 1 and 2 would have been the ending of Big Boss / Venom. And for me at least, but the thing is that nowadays I cannot even tell people, yeah, go play Metal Gear 1 and 2, because it's so disconnected from the original, like the new story. Because let's be
Yeah.
honest, Hideo Kojima, when Hideo Kojima
He didn't
was writing
he didn't
5,
plan this out. He didn't plan this out.
he didn't plan any of it. When he wrote 5, he had the entirety of Metal Gear to back himself up to make everything make sense. But when he wrote 1 and 2, Sean Connery, The Rock,
Yeah.
fucking
They
Escape
made
from
Sean
New
Connery
York,
Big Boss
Escape
without
from New York,
without putting any
Terminator
actual
and shit.
thought into it.
Yeah, he
Would
just
you,
looked at Sean Connery from The Rock and he said, "That motherfucker's cool as hell. Let's make
Oh,
him my
and there's a
best."
reason why I consider, because if we were making a Metal Gear movie in the current era, I know there's one in production with Oscar Isaac. If we were making one in the current era, I would have
Get closer to your computer again.
if we're making a Metal Gear movie in the current year, I would get Wyatt Russell for Solid Snake. Admittedly, the guy from U.S. Agent or Walker.
Oh man, yeah, because Kurt
Walker
doesn't
from
want
Marvel.
to get,
But he has that demeanor. He could be Solid Snake.
Kurt,
In my
Kurt doesn't
and
want,
he's
Kurt
and
doesn't
he's
want to
Kurt
do
Russell's
anything with it. So yeah,
he's
let's
Kurt
fucking get
Russell's
his
son. You could get Kurt Russell as Big Boss. The biggest issue though is that like it's hard to convince them, because both of them have denied wanting to do a remake of the Escape from New York or Escape from LA movies. So it's gonna be even harder convincing them to make a Metal Gear movie.
Kurt
But
doesn't
if we're
even acknowledge, like, he doesn't like, I don't think he liked Metal Gear Solid on the fact that it based a lot of
based it on
itself
Snake Plissken, yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't consider Snake to be a derivative of Snake Plissken. You know who I consider him to be like based on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kyle Reese from Terminator. If you look at the box art,
it's the fucking box art. It's
the box art of Metal Gear 1.
It's hilarious that you mentioned that, because just today I did a presentation in front of my class about movie reference in video game, and guess the hell what I was talking about. I was talking about Metal Gear 1 and 2 and Kyle Reese on the cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Metal
pull
Gear
that.
1.
I'm gonna end off on this one.
Yeah.
Just because I want to show it off. Yeah, Kyle Reese is the like if I was making a 90s Metal Gear movie, it would be Michael Biehn as Solid Snake. And which is a shame, because
Michael Biehn is probably one of the most robbed Hollywood actors.
He was one of the most underrated actors of his time. I really love Michael Biehn, and he's more than just like a soldier character, because James Cameron and like Michael Bay keeps making him as soldier characters, but he's willing to portray this sort of really tortured guy, this this tortured soul from the future in Metal Gear. I mean in Terminator 1, that really reflected well, and I think Solid Snake is a similar kinds of character. That's why I love Michael Biehn, man.
Yeah, no, but one of the funniest thing for me for like Michael Biehn is, you mentioned Alien Colonial Marines earlier in the stream.
Yeah.
You wanna know what other game he did that same year?
Yeah.
Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Oh yeah, he was he's Rex Power. He's Rex Power Cole.
Yeah, and
he got his dream role as the definitive 80s action hero.
Yeah,
as Rex Power Cole.
And one of the most the most like hilarious thing I have noticed is that I have compared both his voice performance in Colonial Marines and in Far Cry, and it's like, it's obvious he didn't want to do Colonial Marines. He was reading his lines. It was
he didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, no, it was.
But he wanted to do Blood Dragon.
Bro, he fucking loved Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Losers don't do drugs.
No, for me, my favorite line is like, Nah, doctor, I made a promise to a lady. Oh, your wife? Nah, Lady Liberty. She told me that winners don't do drugs. It's like, brother, it's so dumb.
So fucking cheesy, but I
It's
love it.
so fucking 80s. Like,
it's
honestly,
aggressively 80s.
yeah, and that's the shit I love. And for me,
Um,
like,
do you watch Face Full
Ubisoft.
of Eyes? There's this channel called Face Full of Eyes run by this Russian guy who does like video essays. And his one on Far Cry Blood Dragon, the opening shot was the text, "Can you be nostalgic for an era your parents lived in? Or can you be nostalgic for an era you did not live in?" And I
Oh,
feel
man,
like that is
man.
why we love 80s media. That's why we love 90s media despite being Zoomers. That's why I love that's why I'm like so interested in history. I think it becomes from that. We're nostalgic for a time and place our parents lived
Man,
through,
it cut so
but we
much.
never
I
got
can
to
barely hear you. I'm so mad. You say you say a lot of such interesting shit. And
Okay.
Your
Okay.
goddamn connection does not cooperate.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but what I was saying was, can you be nostalgic for an era you never lived in? And I think that's what we are. We're nostalgic for like.
Well, man, I mean, Ubisoft had Lightning in the Bottle when that game came out because that was the renaissance of 80s nostalgia.
Yeah. That was before everyone.
Power Glove, Carpenter Brut, freaking Miami Nights, it was Ocean Drive, freaking Kavinsky Drive, like, bro.
Yeah.
That was and Ubisoft, and I begged Ubisoft to make a proper Far Cry Blood Dragon game, not a spin-off,
Just like a full game.
A full-on 80s action movie video game with Rex, with Sloan, with the cliffhanger they give at the end of the game. Like, give me the fucking game, brother, and they did none of that. And when I say that to people and I get the answer, oh well, they made the DLC for Trials Evolution, I'm like, man, if I could slap you through the fucking screen, I would do it, because you really well know that.
Yikes says that bastard Pitchford stole the budget to make Borderlands. Okay, fuck that, man.
Man,
fuck
do you
that.
wanna bro, CV11, which is a YouTuber I really love, did a full like explication of what happened. Like, you hate Colonial Marines?
I'm not actually like, I'm not familiar with Colonial Marines. I just know that it's hated.
Well, I mean, let me tell you something. This guy did a full deep down into what happened to that game while reviewing the game. He did it with Duke Nukem Forever, and basically say, yeah, Randy Pitchford's a fucking axe that killed gaming and killed like two of the biggest IPs of video games, because Borderlands 1 was because he made Borderlands instead. The budget of Colonial Marines went into Borderlands. And yeah, that's the story. The reason why Colonial Marines sucks is because Randy Pitchford stole the money from Sega and put it in his own studio to make Borderlands.
Oh man.
Allegedly, they say in big quotation mark.
It's an action shooter like Alan's. I think.
But yeah, CV11 does a lot of cool history bits about the history of gaming, and one of his running gag that is clearly his least favorite is like he hates it so much that he made it a reference in his Max Payne video, is that he fucking hates that most of the stories he tells about these young upstart developers / studios that makes great games being assimilated the Ting style by big corpo
by the big studios.
Yeah, to make basically slob. Like, whenever he talks about a Raven game, the only thing he can think about is like, now they're stuck making Call of Duty games. And it was so bad that when he talked, 6 developers, bro.
Yeah, 6 developers.
When he talked about Max Payne, he said, you want to know the best thing about Max Payne is that despite being like a relatively young start studio with low budget that made a really breakthrough game, they never sold their soul. They remained making good ass games. Even when Rockstar decided to screw them over with the Max Payne deal, they still remain making extremely good games despite like even like Quantum Break, that people have mixed feelings, is because like it was a TV show, but like that's Sam Lake for you, man. Sam Lake loves this kind of this storyline, so yeah, I can give him a shot. Go play Control, go play Quantum Break, go check
Control.
go check Remedy's library of game and go play these.
OBS is ignoring me. Oh, Random Perv, I'm on Streamlabs. I don't know what's going on, but
who is this YouTuber? CV11. So CV11. Yeah.
I'll post it in chat. Oh, Civ11. Okay.
Yeah, makes a lot of video about old boomer shooters. Yeah, he's the guy that made me discover Fallen Aces, and another great game I recommend if you like him Sims.
Anyway, you think we should end now? You think we should?
We should end.
Thank you, Kilroy. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate this.
I loved it. It was
This was great. This was great.
We should have done this much earlier, man.
Yeah, this was great. This was fun.
Really fun.
It was really fun. Like it's the first time. I enjoy it. I wish I had the opportunity to do so many more collabs, because usually I don't get the chance to stream so late. I don't get the chance to to have people over on VC. But this has been so much fun, man.
Great. Hey man, the opportunity to just yap about some random
don't forget to look up the Pogo. Okay, what's the Pogo?
Man. Oh yeah, the Pogo. Yeah, okay. So the Pogo. Where?
The ballistic Pogo.
The ballistic. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, go.
Okay, what is it? Give me the full name.
The G.I. Joe Pogo Ballistic Battle Ball. It's a Cobra vehicle.
Okay, I'm bracing myself. Hold on. We're
Oh man, it looks so fucking stupid, bro. I cannot describe it. It's just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. Look at this thing. It's a Pogo with guns. They weaponize Pogos.
I'm not even gonna ask, man. Are those Sidewinder missiles on a ground vehicle? Is it supposed to jump?
Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to bounce around instead of walk.
It's hard.
And he used like the propulsion to like launch himself in the air and then land and then it just bounce. And like for me, I look at it as like, okay, but that makes like sense in lore, because that's what Cobra loves to do, is that they look at obsolete and like stuff that just didn't make the cut. Like they look at prototypes and they just buy the rights, and then they
make them,
and then they try to patch it
despite it failing in the actual tests.
Yeah. So they probably looked at some random ass dude's idea to weaponize Pogo Stick. The Department of Defense of the whatever country this guy proposed this idea looked at him and said, "Are you fucking retarded, man?
Fucking kidding?
Send that shit to the trash can." And then some random corpo from Extensive Enterprise looked at it and said, could probably make some money out of this. Pitched it to the Crimson Twin, and they made that.
Oh man. Anyways, I do have an announcement. I do have I'll be having my birthday tomorrow. My birthday is tomorrow, which is technically in a couple hours, but I will be having that tomorrow. It will be an open. And I'm considering. You can check out my Twitter and ask a question there, because I'm doing a Q&A that I did last year. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna answer anything. Ask me anything, so I'll answer all that there. And I might have, this has been really fun, so I'm considering having an open VC in some places. I'm not sure. I'm not sure like if everything's planned out, but I might have that.
Well, I may not like mind having an open VC, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Felix. It's much more fun to having a one-on-one
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, but this
I
has
feel
been
like
really fun. So
it was indeed extremely fun.
please
And
check
I'm
out
extremely
Kilroy if you're a Twitch watcher. I obviously do not stream on Twitch, but if you are, go check out Kilroy.
and
Support him. I really
also
appreciate him coming on.
should we advertise the Discord channel, my Discord channel? I mean,
Do you want to?
I mean, nah, it's between my friends, and
Okay, yeah, let's keep it
you
between
know what?
friends.
Yeah, let's keep it between friends.
Anyways,
I have a lot of strangers that I do not bring into the server because
yeah,
even for
me
you
too. Some of the
guys,
stuff that I do, I think I'll keep it to a question and answer. But yeah,
yeah.
Thank you, Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you, Random Perf. Thank you, Sharpnel. Thank you, Spinozilla. Thank you,
Thank you,
Anon.Doomer.
Yike. Thank you,
Thank you,
Yike,
Big
coming
Yike.
on.
Yeah, thank you, Big Yike. Thank you, Crispy Chips. Thank you, Hallowed. Thank you, Hallowed, for coming in. And is there anyone else?
Thank you for everyone else who.
Thank you, Danciok. Thank you, Danciok fanboy.
Thank you
And
to everyone else who didn't show up, who missed this thing. Well, it's your freaking problem. You missed the
oh
best
man,
stream we had.
don't insult the VOD watchers like that. They can always see the VOD. Good night. Anyway, Otsu love, guys, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow.
Ciao, fellas. Have a good one.
Oh yeah, I forgot to raid. Manual raid. I'll do a manual.